We live. All right, we live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. After party at Shapes, we here. Sunday show. What's up, people? I'm getting my grub on. Got a little mashed potatoes right here with some vegan sour cream, some ketchup, some salt. And we're gonna do the damn thing. What's the word? So look, like all my live shows, I say, if you're gonna call in, please keep it respectful. No cursing, no profanity. Please respect the panel. And now let's just have some fun. What is the deal? What's going on this Sunday? How's everybody? I just dropped the video. I don't know if you guys seen it. 74-year-old Ohio woman robs bank for $500. Jesus Christ. The economy is in such a bad place. We got grannies committing crime. Grannies committing crimes. So, guys, if you love your grandma, check on your grandma, see if she needs some money, because you never know. She might be thinking about robbing a bank like this Ohio grandma was doing. Okay, we don't need that. And she's actually facing time, so check out the video. I think it's really dope. Good video. But this goes to show you what the state of affairs that we're in right now. Cool. Also, next week, no live stream on Sunday. Or if I do one, I'm probably gonna do one earlier. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'll keep you guys posted on the community tab. What's the dealio with that? So it depends. It depends how I feel. If I know I can't make it, I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I got a date lined up. I'm just tell the truth. And not that I put dating over work, but some of you guys may know I work 3 jobs, including YouTube. And Sunday's usually the day I can kind of go out. But I've been using Sundays as a day to kind of do this live stream, build it up. And I'm happy with it. I'm happy of what we've done, what we've built so far with this live stream. It's been a platform and an opportunity for me to connect with my viewers and for us to kind of build this community. And I'm grateful for it. I'm thankful for it. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you go weeks and weeks and weeks strong, giving. And, you know, I need a time to just reset. I'm going on a gym date. So me and this girl, we're going to be going to the gym together, get a nice workout in, bonding. We're both personal trainers. So I'm going to program half the workout. She's going to program the other half of the workout. And, yeah, I think it's important to me. To just take some time off at times. You know, it's not something I'm going to do every Sunday, obviously, but I'm taking Sunday off. Because guess what, guys? I never get a day off. I'm going to keep it real with you. I worked a double yesterday at the restaurant that I work at. And I literally worked this morning. And now I'm working now. And so I think I deserve a day off. And if you don't like it, unsubscribe. Fuck it. You know? Whatever, you know, you guys should care about your YouTubers. I don't want to say mental health because not like I'm gonna, you know, crash out if I don't know, but you guys should care that, you know, that we are also humans and we have lives and we got things to do. So please, if you support that, you support me. Please understand, next Sunday, the lives. Just understand that. All right. Let's get down to the brass tacks, though. I am doing a show this Thursday, though. Live show, 9 p.m. So I'm going to keep that show. And I also want to talk about the fact that one of my last videos did really well. The alcohol video. I'm pretty happy with that. I did a video called The Drinking Epidemic, America's Secret Abuse of Alcohol. And it did pretty well. I got a lot of good feedback on it, so I'm going to start a series on that and kind of really go deeper and deeper in uncovering, the abuse of alcohol in our country. Because my oh my, there's a lot of people who've been negatively affected by alcohol. I know I have been personally, so it's kind of personal to me. I haven't had any like super traumatic things, but I've had a lot of bad experiences, such as throwing up uncontrollably, completely embarrassing yourself amongst your friends, almost getting a DUI. Literally got the breathalyzer test and blew just underneath, so you got that going on. So the alcohol video that I dropped connected to a lot of people. I'm grateful for it. So part 2 is coming out this week. We got a lot of videos actually on the hit list to do. So I'm excited about that. Alberto, one of my subscribers, one of my supporters, he hit me up about the fact that there's this company, this technology out there that's helping women steal the sperm out of condoms from men, which is beyond me. So I'm going to do a deep dive on that. If I can come up with a video for that this week, that'll be out this week. What else is on the hit list? Got a pretty good hit list. They're going to do a video about coffee soon. Coffee is a drug too, just as much as any other drug. It's actually America's favorite drug, I guess you could say, after alcohol. Maybe even their favorite drug, period, because it's a drug that we have first thing in the morning. So there's an argument for that. That's America's favorite drug. Dunkin' Donuts like to say America runs on coffee. And what classifies a substance as a drug is its impact on the central nervous system. If you can stimulate the central nervous system and you are a substance, you're considered a drug. Coffee is technically America's favorite drug. What else? Let's see here. And I'm pretty happy about the way some of these things are going as far as my video ideas. But I'll run it by you guys and tell me what you guys think about it either way. Thinking about doing a video on Neyo's baby mama drama. So Neyo recently went viral because one of the mothers of his children, recorded herself harassing him in his home, in his bedroom, while he's sitting on his bed, while their child is on his bed, and he's watching TV or playing a video game, something like that. And she's completely provoking him, antagonizing him, and trying to provoke him to lash out on her and get violent. She's calling him all types of bitches and punks and saying that the same thing happened to Diddy gonna happen to him. Long story short, DJ Academics posted a clip of that, and I hopped in the comments because I wanted to see what the audience was thinking about the fact that this woman completely antagonizing a man, which, by the way, Neyo stood strong, did not respond, right? He didn't fall victim to what the issue was talking about. And I wanted to see if anyone's going to be in the comments, any girl's going to be in the comments condemning her behavior. And to my surprise, not a single peep. Okay, maybe there were some girls there, but you could scroll a good while without seeing any comments from women at all. And what it made me realize is that, unfortunately, women do not call other women out for their bad behavior. It's common, right? The sisterhood protects itself. And even if they're acting irrationally, poorly, and violently, which I just thought it was so peculiar. I wrote on the comments myself, anyone notice not a single woman in these comments condemning her behavior? That's what I wrote. Not a single woman in these comments are condemning her behavior, right? Because like I said, she is recording the video, right? It's her POV, her cell phone, I guess. Neo's on the bed, like I said, and the child's behind him, like a good, he probably has a king-size bed, pretty big bed, so he's at the edge of the bed, watching TV or playing a video game. The child's like closer to the pillows. And I don't know what the fight was over, but it was like mid-fight with her just, you know, harassing him and instigating him and telling him he's a punk, he's a bitch, he's this. And I'm like, wow, I wonder if any girl is gonna do anything or comment or say something. Because guys, if this happened in public, if a man is violent towards a woman, even verbally, right? Somebody's gonna check him. A man's gonna check him. A man is definitely gonna check him. Somebody, a man that doesn't know either party is gonna jump in and get involved. That's 100%. That is 100%. But when these same things happen in public, women don't say anything. So when I made that comment, anyone surprised that, anyone else noticed that no woman is in this comments condemning her behavior, that comment quickly went viral, getting over 4,000 likes, right? And it ended up being the most liked comment on that video. Now, I didn't intend to do that and never, so you know how people go out and they try to make the most viral comment on a post to kind of get clout and stuff. That was not my intention. In fact, all I was calling attention to was the fact that, how peculiar that is, right? That this lady is acting so poorly and no one's saying anything about it. Because think about this, right? If Neyo would have got up and snapped, how many women would have been so quick to say, oh, he's an abuser, he's this, he's that. But just to see a man provoked, and he's not even being like applauded for not, turning up on her. That because there's no reward for that these days, right? There's no reward for doing the right thing. There's only a punishment for doing the wrong thing, but there's no reward to do the right thing. So no one applauds Neyo for not getting irate with his baby mother, but the whole world turned a blind eye to his baby mother harassing him. So I think I might do a video on this, especially the fact that my comment went viral on DJ Academic's posts. Like I said, at the moment of this recording, it has over 4,000 likes, 100 plus comments, and I did not set out to do that, but that's exactly what I achieved. Guys, if you're coming in the channel, if you're coming in the live stream, please like the live stream, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. So I want to hear from you guys. And also, I'm going to post a link so we can have a discussion. We're going to talk. We're going to rock out. This is our live stream. This is for us, for the community, And so, yeah, talking about Neyo and Neyo's baby mother and her assaulting him, essentially. And how black men, we don't get enough credit for when we turn the other cheek. We don't get enough credit. And we should, because if y'all want more of this behavior, we got to validate it. Right? Because we reward so much toxic behavior in the dating market. Right? Like, I talked on the previous live stream how I'm single again. And honestly, I wasn't in a relationship with the girl I was talking to, but we were talking now, so I stopped actually dating around. So we were kind of like talking and dating exclusively. And what I noticed was that girl treated me a lot better when I was more toxic. And I don't mean toxic like violent or rude. I mean toxic meaning like that I wasn't concerned about where this relationship was going. I wasn't really invested into it. I was more focused on having fun and getting what I wanted. Unfortunately, for some reason, women reward that behavior. So I'm saying that for what happened to Neyo and the fact that he stood tall and did not snap, he wasn't emotional, and he didn't succumb to his impulses, we need to reward that. And so if I make the video, or when I make the video, however it goes, I'm gonna do a deep dive on it. I'm gonna really point out the fact that we need to condone this behavior, and we need to validate this behavior, and really appreciate men that don't get violent in these tough situations where a girl's in your face, poking at you, taunting you, calling you all kinds of names, and you just ignore it. And honestly, that's masculine. If you want to know the truth, the most masculine thing to do is not be flustered or swamped with emotions when a woman is acting crazy. And most women know this, So unfortunately, what they do is it's like a test. They do exactly this to see what you're going to do, right? The red pill community likes to call it a shit test. They put you through some shit to see if you won't pass the test. So the dumbest thing, by far the dumbest thing. So might do a video on that. Comment went viral. Shout out to DJ Academics. I had no intention on making the most viral comment. You know, these things happen organically. And so I hope that on my journey of YouTube, of making videos and making content and having fun with it, because I'm having fun with this live stream no matter what. Like I'm here to do my job, having fun with it. But I hope that as I'm just enjoying the experience of doing live streams and YouTube, that the videos do well, they become successful, and so on and so forth. But all right, I'm gonna put the link in the bio. So you guys want to hop in the live stream, y'all can hop in. I appreciate everybody for supporting. Also, please donate to the channel. We take cash apps, we take super chats, we take super things. Everything, every little bit goes, it helps, right? I want to get a new studio space here, so that's the next vibe, getting a new studio space. You know, that's kind of what it is. Sacred Cow says, if I'm being shit tested, I better have a big old pile of FU money as my reward for passing. Yeah, that. Right? What do we get from being harassed and treated like ish, other than that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like it's expected. It's expected for us to do the right thing, but oftentimes when it comes to the opposite gender, it's not expected for them to do it. Right? Men are expected to pay for the meal. And I'm talking about heterosexual relationships. Men are expected to pay for the meal. Well, I guess in a homosexual relationship, a man is paying, right? If there's two men. But anyway, men are expected to pay for the meal, hold the doors open, right? We're expected to keep. We're expected to keep things flowing and be polite and, you know, walk on the outside of the street curb while she walks on the inside of the street curb. That kind of thing. Sacred Clouds, just wave your hand so I know it's you, not some bot pretending to be you. If you can hear me, there you go, brother. Appreciate you. What's going on, bro? How you feeling? You hear me? Uh-oh, Sacred Cow back in the building, but we can't hear him. Uh-oh, some technical difficulties. You figure it out, my brother. I'll keep you on. I'll just keep talking while you're figuring it out. But yeah, man, we're expected to do the right thing and not be rewarded for it. You know, not be rewarded for it. Alberto says, y'all slide through a bit later. Absolutely cool, bro. I appreciate you. No worries. That's what we're expected from. So, you know, I want to make that video because I think it has evergreen appeal. You know, and I think it's going to be good long term. Nowadays, when I make my videos, I'm just thinking about catalog. What's my catalog? You know, as a content creator, you know, I'm thinking about the impact I'm making. So it's an evolution. You know, first we're getting into it for money, then we're getting into it for honey, now we're getting into it for legacy. You know, and so that's kind of the thing. Alberta says Shape got the cap. Yeah, there you go. But I don't cap. Shape got the cap, but he don't cap. The world's cap, you know what I'm saying? So I'm protecting my noggin from this world. That's for sure. Anybody see Ryan Garcia endorsing Trump? I don't know if I should say Trump on YouTube because that might get me banned or shadow banned. But I thought it was pretty interesting. Him endorsing Trump. He had the opportunity to meet Donald Trump. That's interesting how entertainers get to meet politicians. You know, influence is a strange, strange world. You know, and people want to meet with and not that Ryan Garcia's a clown or anything, but I'm just trying to say, like, political leaders want to meet with jesters, if you will, you know, in order to further their influence. Sacred Cow, how are we doing so far? Still struggling? Or you could speak. Still figuring it out?
Can you?
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear me clearly?
Yeah, what was the issue?
Or maybe not. I guess not. Shit.
You can turn your volume up a little bit, though. Turn my headphones up.
It still has delay.
Oh, there you go. I hear it.
All right.
I don't hear a delay, though. You might hear a delay on your side. I don't know. Well, I seen you chimed in on Jack's Live. Appreciate the shout out there, brother. You know, Jack's Live is growing. As it should. But yeah, guys, like next week, no live stream on Sunday. If I do it, or maybe you guys can vote. If I do it, I might do it earlier. I don't know. Still up in the air, but I got a date on Sunday, and I just need a break, bro. I've been working 7 days a week for the past, I don't know, 4 months since I got back from Florida. I've just been working nonstop, so taking a small break. Might do a live stream earlier, might not. We'll see. Depends how I feel. Mr. Mrs. says, I'm here. I'm late because I'm black. Hey, bro, well, you know what? You're forgiven. Affirmative action when it comes to...
You work in the recording industry, don't you?
Who, me? Or Miss Mister? Affirmative action when it comes to punctuality for black people. So, yeah, bro, you're good. You're fashionably late. No, it's Sacred. I actually used to work in the music industry, and I used to want to be a rapper, believe it or not. But now I'm just a YouTuber. But I'm a personal trainer, and I work at a restaurant part-time. And I do YouTube. That's in my 3 hustles. And I work 7 days a week. And I made a break, so no show next Sunday. I think Jack took off the Sunday prior. I'm taking off the following Sunday. So, fortunately for you guys, you'll still get a show out of one of us. Either way. What's going on, Sacred Cow? You got everything's working or not? You know the whole world wants to hear you speak. Look deep in thought. Mr. Mitch says, I'm not really a music fan. Why not, bro? You don't make love to music? One of the best things to set the mood is music, bro. Women love music. So if you love women, you gotta love music. You gotta love music. Or if you love having fun. Right? What about you? Work out, you know? Music is so necessary for so many things, I feel like. It's spiritual. Technically, all music should be the gospel, but you know, nowadays we have secular music, so it is what it is. But all music started with the church. That's how powerful it is. You know, music is like spirituality. It's like one on one. They're damn near the same thing, you know. That's why, like, I think certain religions you can't listen to certain music. I believe if you're a Muslim, you can't listen to music. I believe that's how it works. I don't know if it's true. I believe it's something like that. Miss Mrs. says, bye. I like to hear her spazzing out when I'm laying down in good wood. True story. Yeah. I think I like to hear that too. I don't want to drown her out by the music, but I like the music sets a vibe. I don't know. You know? But I get it. I get it. When I take a shower, I like music. When I'm cleaning, I like music. I like to clean and play music in the background. Very seldomly do I like to just it to be peace and quiet. Even if it's like no one speaking, I like to play music or maybe listen to an audiobook. I'm playing something usually. Sacred Cow says, I'm still figuring out these bugs. All right, bro. What you got to do? Figure it out. Our brother says, what up, Mr. Mr. Comment God? Yeah. He's a chat box champion. Which is he's self-proclaimed the chat box champion, but I think we all agree that he is. It's a great title for him for sure. So here's a couple ideas of what we could kind of touch bases on, because I know Jack is live. He touched on addiction. I think it's kind of because we both kind of did a addiction kind of video, but I did mine on alcoholism. He did on his on like just all addictions as a whole. But I really think that the reason why we're addicted to anything, right? The reason why we fall into addiction, a lot of it is because we don't like to be alone, right? We don't want to, a lot of people don't want to be alone with their thoughts, with themselves. So it's like a form of escapism. Whether you're drinking, whether you're snorting, whether you're smoking. The reason why people do these things is kind of escape themselves. They want to get away from themselves. And, the true peace is not needing any of these things to cope, not needing any of these substances, not needing any of these vices to cope. Sacred Cow, whenever you're ready, bro, I'm gonna bring you back up. I'm gonna just put you in the queue for a little bit, boy. Whenever you're ready, I'm gonna bring you back up. Just so I don't want to confuse the audience is why two people on the screen no one's talking. But Sacred, you're right in the queue, so whenever you're ready, come back up. Also, anyone else that want to join, I'll put the link in the bio again. Appreciate everybody. Like I said, Sacred Cow, you're in the queue. Whenever you're ready, just wave your hand. I'll bring you back up. Just to make sure we keep the high quality of show. So quality matters. Not for me. I don't really care for that. But I want to make sure that for people watching the replay, everyone else, we keep the show high quality. So, yeah, escapism. And so I want to do a video about healthy self-esteem and healthy relationships with yourself and positive thinking. And so I'm kind of brainstorming on how to do this video, because that's kind of a real deep video. So I kind of want to pinpoint the problem as far as like, why do we need an escape? Why can't we sit with ourselves? Why can't we sit with our thoughts? And then get to that point. Another one of the videos I want to do, Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas. Let me read your comment, Miss Smith, before I even go into my Gilbert Arena thing. Miss Smith says, I agree. I don't need any of these vices to cope. I have been at peace for a long time. I never understood the need for any of that. Not stunting, just an honest observation. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Peace is hard, though. I won't lie. It's emotional intelligence to have peace. Like one of the people on Jack's Live, because I was watching Jack's Live a little bit before I hopped on here. One of the girls was talking about how to live is to suffer. And I agree with her. That's actually a popular quote from this book by this Holocaust survivor, Frank. Dang, what's his name? Oh, man, I always remember his name. But he made the book Man's Search of Meaning. And in that book, he talks about how his whole entire family got murdered and the concentration camp that he was in. And every day he was living thinking he was going to die. And they were making him dig his own, they were making him dig community graves and put other people in gas chambers. And it's a terrible, terrible life. He lost his entire family to the Holocaust, but he ended up surviving. For somewhat odd reason, they kept him alive and didn't kill him. But he talks about how to live is to suffer, and I agree. The only people who are at peace, that's why we say RIP, are the dead. They're the only ones. Once you're alive, you must go through the pain. It must happen. It will happen. That's what it means to live. To be alive is to be able to experience pain. Doesn't mean that you need to always experience pain. Doesn't mean you need to be subjected to pain. But to be alive is to suffer, because there is no real peace when you're alive. You got to work. You got to fight for survival. You have to fight to defend yourself. You have to fight to feed yourself. I mean, you're in a constant state of battle. And this is why a lot of people try to find escape. A lot of people try to get away from themselves. And whether they use drugs or find a relationship or get married or go to the gym, it's all these things are different vehicles to get to the same place. and that is feeling some form of contentment, to be not, I want to say happy, but content, to look at your life and feel like it satisfies you, right? That there's satisfaction. Okay. If you're ready, Sacred, you want me to bring you in? If so, just wave and I'll bring you in from the queue if you're ready. So if you can hear me, let me know. I'll bring you in. Just wait. But yeah, so that's what means to live. So I'm thinking about doing a video on that, how to do that. I'm not too sure. Okay, so I'll bring you in. You're back in, Sacred. You're back in. So let's talk about it. Let's have the conversation. What you got for this subject? Come on, Sacred. Think about people on the replay. Gotta think about people on the replay. All right, I'll let Secret kind of get his little twos together. I'm gonna just keep yabbing away. But yeah, so I said all this because that was I didn't have, when people connected to the alcohol video that I did, the connection really was that we all know someone that's trying to escape their own reality. The question is, why would they want to escape their own reality? It's because they are experiencing discontent. They're unhappy. And so they're searching for a solution. This is why, as humans, we're like the only living creature that needs to believe in something. Because we're truly, we have a spiritual side to us that puts our entire life under a microscope and asks why, right? Not just how, not just when, not just who, but why. And so that's kind of where we're at with it. You know, we need something to kind of give us guidance onto life as a whole. Mr. Mr. says you need pain to experience joy. Absolutely. There wouldn't be no joy if it wasn't for pain. Right? Joy in some ways is the absence of pain, and the net positive of happiness.
Desperate makes you crazy.
What? Say something, Sacred?
Damn it.
You got it, brother?
Well, it's something I've been saying for years. I may have said this before in one of your previous broadcasts. I've made that saying, lacking makes you desperate, desperate makes you crazy. And oftentimes craziness leads to stupid decisions, but occasionally smart ones.
Yeah, I mean, what is the experience? Like, what is the experience? You know, when someone says he has lots of experience.
Just an observation I've made.
Huh?
Well.
Yeah, you got it. Just have a delay. You hear me in real time? It's still delayed a little bit.
Observations I've made for years, but I like to people watch sometimes. Oftentimes, actually.
Don't we all?
No, I cannot.
Okay. Yes, Sacred Cow, man. Damn, I want to keep you in here, but you're kind of, I would say, reload your computer, something, and get back to it, because I don't think you're hearing me for some reason. Kind of a bummer a little bit. You gotta keep the show on the road. So yeah, Sacred Cow is gonna figure it out. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. So much continue anyway. So, and shout out to Sacred. He actually has some really good points. Hopefully, he calls back in and we can have the discussion. But yeah, I think that he's a great commentator. Mr. Mister, I think exercise and travel are the best vices to cope with the pains of life. Yeah, I think it is. I think You know, exercise is a form of pain, and travel is a form of joy. But with exercise comes joy, and with traveling comes pain. You know, you can travel and miss the convenience of your own home. You know, miss being around your friends. You know, um, the pain of spending lots of money, you know, and not being able to use it as wisely as you like it to be. Sigurd, you ready? If you're ready, wave your hand, bro, so I can bring you back in. Whenever you're ready, wave your hand so I can bring you back in. Yeah, I think one of the things that I've realized in my time is that suffering is where you learn everything, right? Success is a poor teacher. All my greatest achievements in life have been at the hand of suffering first and then learning something that could help me or reduce or mitigate the suffering later on. So, are you ready? You want me to Sacred Cow? You ready? If so, wave your hand, my brothers. I can see that you can hear me loud and clear. Let's see. Jenny baby says, hello. What's going on, girl? How are you? We're doing a live stream here. As you know, please like the live stream, share it with somebody you know that wants to hear this conversation. And also, I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you want to join, you can join. The only rules is please respect the panel, keep profanity to a minimum. We don't use the word like we say corn star for adult actress. And we try to keep certain assaults that are sexual in nature to a minimum when we're talking. We just try to dance around them, like we say grapeseed oil, you know, for the word with the heart on it. So that's kind of what we do. But I'm glad to have you. You know, this is a community. We all meet up here every Sunday. We have a conversation. People jump in. You know, we're gonna get started. We got started, but we're gonna get started. Really ball rolling. A few more people are going to call in, and we're going to have a good panel discussion. I'm just warming up the chair right now. I'm just warming it up. I got my boy Sacred Cow. He's in the building. And, you know, we are definitely going to have the discussion. Jenny Baby says, good. Yes, lucky I finally caught your live for once. Appreciate you, Jenny. Where are you calling from? How old are you? How'd you find the channel? Curious to know. Most people that come call us live on Sunday, we've been talking for months at this point now as a little community. Mr. Mitchell says, exercise is pain, but your gains produce the joy and absolutely. And I want you to understand that in the end, it's a delayed form of gratification. That's why we can't really compare it to joy, is because the joy is realized a long time later. So people who don't know how to delay gratification, which, by the way, is an emotional intelligence, they can't go through the pain of exercising and working out and being consistent because it doesn't gratify you instantly, right? It takes time to see the results. And it takes wisdom to pursue something that you don't see the results from right away. You know, it takes time. People have the patience to do it. And this is why in the gym, a lot of people use steroids. And I probably should do a video on steroids. I could talk a lot about steroids, not from personal experience, but from a knowledge base of being a personal trainer and why steroids is ultimately a bad idea. And it's for lazy people. But I would say this one positive about steroids is one positive amongst all the sea of negatives. So ultimately steroids is a net negative. But ideally, the best visual body your body is capable of achieving, right? Your full genetic potential, from what I've seen, would require steroids. Your full genetic potential. I'm talking about like the best body you could possibly have would require steroids, from what I've seen. Bodybuilders have proven that over and over again. You know, like you can't be a top bodybuilder without juicing. You just can't. Not at all. You can't. Ms. Smith says corn star. Yeah, that is a secret word. That's a secret word. Mr. Smith said, "Where did everyone else go?" I'm waiting for Sacred Cow. Sacred Cow's in the queue, and he's ready to call in. I know Alberto's calling in a little bit later. But we're here. We're all here, gang, bro. You know, I got this show by myself too. I can run it by myself, so I appreciate you, Mister. But you know, when I'm the only one that got the mic, the show must go on, and it will go on. You know, when I first started doing these live streams, I was talking to myself as if there was an audience. So now that there is, you know, I just have all the skill and experience. Another suffering, another delaying gratification example of what I'm talking about, right? So I probably should do a video on delayed gratification. In fact, that's actually a really good title and subject to cover, delaying gratification. Jenny Baby says Indiana's 42, and I really forgot where and why I subscribed originally. LOL, you must have interested me. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate you. And, you know, love to have the conversation with you. If you want to hop on the live, you can hop on. You can cam up. You want to cam up. If not, you can, you know, stay anonymous. But this community, we just have the conversation. You know, people, you know, we're building it. It's kind of a panel show. We all have a discussion. And this is how we spend our Sundays over here. This is how we spend our Sundays. So I appreciate you. I'm glad to have you. You are part of the family. And so Sundays, really, I kind of recap the week I had with my channel. You know, some of the videos I did, some of the videos I'm probably going to do, talk about my relationship with other YouTubers and blah, blah, you know. So that's kind of the thing. It's a good show. Good show. And the best part about it is when people want to call in, my subscribers, my supporters, they can call in and they can definitely have the discussion. Jenny Bader says, can't talk right now. No, absolutely fine. You're more than welcome to just comment. You know, we got Mr. in the comment with you, you know, and other people watching. And so we can engage with you. So but we're happy to have you. And Jenny Bader says, I was seeing what y'all was going to talk about tonight. And okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Muscle up. Muscles. You know, muscle. Mr. Smith said, back in the day, I lost 40 pounds on my own, all because of delayed gratification. I never had a personal trainer. I couldn't afford one back then, but I can now. Well, if you can't now, bro, feel free to hire me. As you know, I'm taking on new clients. Summertime is slow for personal trainers because everybody likes working out to look good for the summer. And then when the summer comes, everyone falls off. The gym gets real slow during the summer, extremely slow. And so, you know, I could use a few extra clients. Mr. Smith, if you need some help, advice, whatever you want to talk, I got you, brother. As far as Jenny, yeah, the conversation is going to vary. You know, I kind of let people call in. They discuss what they want to talk about as well. And I got someone that's waiting to call in now, Sacred Cow. He's just getting his audio right. And so he's going to join in. Yeah, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. In fact, Jenny, if you have a topic to share, let's talk about your topic. I pretty much make sure that I do my job by coming in and doing my live show every week. I'm here because I gotta be, and yeah, I want to make sure that, you know, the community gets a voice. Jenny Baby says, you are a personal trainer? I am. Yes, I am. I've been a personal trainer for the last 4 years, and so I tell people like this: I help people improve their image, right? And their self-image of themselves and their physical body, you know? So, very vain job, but I like it. Mr. Smith said, I started watching because I thought you were my cousin, Ari. You literally have the same exact voice. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, a lot of, bro, you know, my whole life, people have been comparing me to somebody my entire life. That's why I got the nickname Shape. You don't know why I got the nickname Shape. But my whole life, people have been saying, like nowadays, people say I sound like Joe Rogan. I don't think I sound like Joe Rogan. But anytime I hop on a podcast, or if you look through my videos, people keep commenting, you sound like Joe Rogan. You sound like Joe Rogan. Whatever. I just always reminded someone of someone famous. So I figured maybe fame is calling my name. And so, yeah, that's why I'm here. Jenny Baby says, I got a weird question about exercise. Go ahead, shoot. I'm here to help. I don't mind giving free advice on it. I think everybody should work out, you know, because It preserves your muscles, to tell the truth. You look better. I know a lot of people go to the gym to lose weight and get fit, but to keep it real to you, it makes your hardware work a lot better. Look at it like a car. Look at it like any kind of machinery. It needs maintenance, and exercise is a form of maintenance and improving your body. So, it's kind of like upgrading the software on your computer. That's what exercise is. So, yeah, shoot your question. I got you. I answer. No problem. I know a lot of questions I get lately is, how can I get a six-pack? Or how can I lose stomach fat? Or what's the best exercise? These are the questions I hear all the time. What's the best exercise? What's the best workout? People are shocked when I answer their question because it's not what they think it might be. It's not. We're not in the same paradigm. And that's why I became personal trainer. Because really, I didn't know what the hell I was doing when I first started working out. I'm like, what the hell am I doing this right? What am I doing? So I'm a diligent kind of person. So I'm the kind of person where, I try to learn by studying something else, or studying something deeper. Jenny Baby says, I don't know what else to call this area, but on your glutes area, the inner area near the crack, what's the best exercise for that target area? LOL. IBF. IBV. I don't know that abbreviation. If you can help me. She says the outer glutes. Okay. Not so much your outer glutes. Okay, the inner area where your crack is. So it's going to be the same exercise as glutes. To tell you, I'm going to just tell you my overall favorite glute exercise. Walking lunges. I know a lot of people talk about hip thrust. Hip thrust is a good one. Some girls could build a really big glutes from the hip thrust. The inner area near your crack, though, I would say walking lunges. Absolutely. If you want to kind of puff that out more, lift it, give yourself a nice butt lift. Walking lunges and take long strides, right? You could do walking lunges and be narrow. You want to take long strides and do your walking lunges. Long strides, right? So sink deep into your walking lunges, long stride, like walk deep. Don't walk narrow, walk deep, I don't know if I'm kind of helping you paint that out. But yeah, walking lunges to me is one of the best for glutes. And also, if you get one of those glute bands or hip bands, you put them around your hip and you kind of walk sideways, walking sideways, walking sideways. Some people call them crab walking. But you stay kind of in a squat position and just walk sideways, kind of like this. You'll see people walking sideways like that. So those are good for the glutes as well. You said not so much for your outer glutes. That's cool. If there even a way to target that, yeah, absolutely. The glute is actually the largest muscle in your body. So if you want to fix your glutes, that is a great thing. Women, you guys, like, compared to men, we have it hard because there's no real penis exercises. But to make your butt bigger, there's so much room for growth in the human butt because it's the largest muscle in the body by far. Then he says, okay, and IBVS means laughing but very serious. Oh, LBVS, laughing but very serious. Gotcha. Yeah, glutes are fun. I might do I don't know. I might do a YouTube video on glutes one day. I don't know. I've been dabbling with that. I'm on YouTube as an entertainer, but my full-time job, my main shtick is I'm a personal trainer. I just don't like the whole influencer personal training thing. I like it, but I don't care to do it. You know what I'm saying? It would be nice to be an influencer trainer, and it doesn't fascinate me as much as doing this. This is a lot more fun than just posting in the gym, flexing, wearing new clothes and shit. Even though I do all that stuff, I pose in the gym and I flex, and yeah, I like making videos about this type of stuff more though. But glad to help anytime with glutes. So yeah, walking lunges, fire hydrants, side lunges, squats, get low squats, like deep squats, deep squats. I'm talking about make sure your hips are below your knees squat, right? You're squatting down, bring your hips below your knees. You can even do them with no weight. You don't even need to do weight. if you do barbell back squats, that's for people that have like a lot of skill. So, but for someone like you just starting out, I would say do walking lunges, like lunge walking. Hold if you want to load it up. Put dumbbells on either side. If you're brand new to it, I would say 5-10 pounds on either side at max, and just really try to do 4 sets of 20, doing 20 steps, 10 steps per leg, 4 sets of those. You should be good. That's pretty good. But good, and a lot of my clientele is around your age. Actually, that's like the target area. A lot of people when they hit their late 30s, 40s, start saying themselves, I really want to work on my body. That's kind of the thing. All right, looks like Sacred Cow's ready. I'm about to bring him back in. Appreciate you for waving. Mr. Smith said, I need to increase my pull-ups. I want to be able to do 10 nonstop. Well, I can get 3 or 4. Yeah, 10 nonstop is hard for most men in general. The best way to do pull-ups, though, is like if you can't do more than 3 or 4, after you do your 3 and 4 straight up, jump up to the top of the bar, grab the bar, and then slowly come down. They're called the negatives, doing the negatives. So if you can't pull yourself up, just work on the way down. And so you jump up to the top of the bar, you grab it, and slowly come down. Because most of the work for the pull-up is actually not coming up, not pulling yourself up. It's slowing yourself on the way down. So they call it working on the negative. So do your 3 to 4. And like I said, to do the last 10, if you can't do 10 just yet, do those last 6, jumping up to the top of the bar, put your chin above the bar, and slowly come down. That's the best way. I'm going to bring my boy Sacred Cow back in. Sacred Cows, what's up, brother?
Yeah. You're talking about workout gear, and I'm wondering how much of a scam, if you've heard of it, it's advertised all the time on Facebook. Bionic Gym.
What is it? I don't know.
Okay, we're hearing each other in real time. Thank God.
Yeah, right. I know you had
very low because I'm using you through an interface, but I can otherwise hear what you're saying, and we're good. But it's let me see if I can show it up on this. Probably can't even see it. Hold on.
So let me go Google it. It's called Bionic Gym.
Bionic Gym.
Let me Google it.
Using electrical impulses and whatnot. It's to stimulate areas of your body, your legs, abdomen, biceps, that kind of thing. I'm actually
going to share my screen, and we're going to all look at it together. Because I've never heard of it before, but it might be cool. All right,
it's not cheap. It's like $750. It's
yeah, I see it. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, that seems to be that third one. That third one right there with the orange background. Yeah, that seems to be the one I was. Yeah, that seems to be about right price wise. They might have it on sale or some shit. Excuse me. They might have it on sale or something. I don't know.
Bionic Gym. And so I guess it was like one of those vibrating things. It vibrates for you to work out.
Something of that nature, yeah.
So let's read it. What is Bionic Gym? Bionic Gym is an app and a wrap that delivers exercise by supercharging one of our body's natural processes. Shivering.
If anything, I see it as a supplement. I don't see it as a replacement, obviously.
It shivers your muscles. So it uses electromuscle stimulation, EMS, to contract and relax the muscles of the leg at the optimal frequency to delivery workout to your muscles as if they were in autopilot. Yeah. Here's the issue with that is that, and I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. This is a complete no for me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Unfortunately, there is no shortcut. There's no shortcut. You know what I'm saying? People keep trying to find like what's the quickest way, and there is none. There is no shortcut. We should really put it this way, right? It's like, would you want to go to college and if someone told you, hey, look, I'll give you the diploma, just pay me $5,000. You don't even got to go to school. And that's kind of what people are looking for. Like, how can I just, get the diploma? When the reality of it is, the diploma is the least valuable thing about college. It's that all the experience and that knowledge you get, the whole time. So same thing with working out. a lot of working out is not just the muscles and the results. It's the person you become going through all this pain and suffering, delaying gratification, being determined, you know what I'm saying, being focused, being consistent. All those characteristics will be a greater change in your life than the actual physical results of working out.
What you're saying there dovetails with what you were talking about much earlier. I tried to chime in, but my computer was giving me the finger of sorts. And when I said lacking makes you, I believe I said this. I'm pretty sure I said this on a previous program of yours, because I've only been on here twice before, where I said lacking makes you desperate, desperate makes you crazy, and crazy oftentimes leads to stupid decisions. In this case, lacking addicts who lack some form of cohesion, some form of connection, family connection, love connection, relationship connect, what have you. So they get desperate, and in their desperation, they do things that they normally wouldn't have if they were of a sounder mind. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, and Kamisha says working out's for your mind. The body's just a bonus. Bro, solid, yo.
Especially if you run, which
solid,
I used to do years ago, but.
Solid. It, honestly, one of the, because you know what, you've learned, and so there's a phrase is called be, do, have, right? And that talks about life in such a way where when we look at rich people, we look at what they have, and we want their riches, their luxuries, their jewels, but we don't think about who they had to be to do what they had to do to have what they had. What they end up having.
My father would say they're obsessed with the end result.
Exactly. And so the most important thing about a rich person is not what they have, right? It's who they become to do what they need to do, and the end result is having what they have. And so I think a lot of times people get stuck on, I want the trophy. That's why we live in this kind of society where everybody wants a trophy. No one wants to become the person that wins trophies. No one.
Nothing of the high expectations, unrealistic expectations that people have. I'm sorry to interrupt. But
go ahead. Yes.
I'm so sick and tired of hearing that word. I'm hearing that ad nauseum. In fact, I think Jack's still on this message board. You, Jack, may have done a program on tipping culture. Joshua Fluke recently, and he's no conservative. He's pretty liberal in terms of his views on politics and whatnot, on how out of hand tipping culture has become. And if he's saying that tipping culture is out of hand, Joshua is, then, you know, and then my sentiments, my feelings, my thoughts on the matter are pretty valid. And that people expect too much for doing too little from too many, and are willing in return to offer too little, too few.
Participation trophy.
As a bastardized way of turning around that famous Winston Churchill quote. Never before have we, I don't know how it goes, but I'm do my best at not butchering it, but never before have we owed so much to so few. I mean, when it counter to that, this is where we're at in the 21st century. We're almost the opposite of that, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
that was like 2 or 3 generations ago where they gave so much and received so little, but sacrificed so much and risked so much for us to, you know, live these lives of decadence. And you know, you talk going on your red pill rant earlier when I joined in. Yeah, women especially, but also effeminate gay men are very similar in behavior.
Yeah. What I was saying is, as far as the Winston Churchill thing you said, is that, and you're talking about, like, you know, they did all this hard work for us to live the life that we have now. Yeah, it's Jordan Peterson calls it unearned privilege, and we don't sit and think like, well, gee, what a miracle of sorts for us to be born in such a time where a lot of the hard work was done for our community, and we're just inheriting it, right? Right. So we just benefit from running water, as if running water has been around forever, right? Jesus didn't have running water in his home. You know what I'm saying? In the manger, right? There was no running water in the manger.
He didn't have any plumbing either. So
yeah, didn't have any plumbing either. These are modern miracles, and we take them as if they're owed to us. And the entitlement that we've got to, and I probably should do a video on the entitlement epidemic. Let me write that down, because that is the epidemic we're in. where everyone looks at life and all the gems that we have at this point as if they're owed it. They're owed plumbing, running water, security. You know what I'm saying? They're owed electricity. They're owed gas. You know what I'm saying? Their own structures. Like I live in a building. The building I live in was created before I was even born, right? And so someone that lived in this town back in like the 1950s had to work hard to build this building. They might have even lost their life. A few people, right?
So here's where I'm going to. So here's where I'm going to potentially cross-examine you on that statement. As an adult, I can understand your skepticism as to the entitlement mentality that is so pervasive in this country, as well as most of the Western world. But as it pertains to children, for example, if you were to have a child out of wedlock, or if I were to have a child out of wedlock that I'm not aware of, and maybe I experimented with a woman 20 years ago, and she finally comes forward and says, "Hey, by the way, this little Jimmy here is yours. I want my alimony." I would think that those children are entitled to those things, if for no other reason than to ensure that they develop into functioning human beings as adults. Wouldn't you?
If that was the case, then how come our ancestors didn't have it?
Well,
we would like to believe they are entitled to it, but the reality of it is we're the first ones inheriting it.
So because a child born 200 years ago didn't have the amenities and the securities that a child that would be born, say, tomorrow would have, does that invalidate the needs of that child that's born tomorrow?
It doesn't invalidate the needs. I just think it's self-evident that we've never had it, so therefore, in some ways, we never needed it. I mean, we're talking about hundreds and thousands of years of existence.
And again, we're also talking about the infant mortality rate that was
absolutely
skyrocketed 200, 300, 400 years ago.
And this is why, a lot of one of the modern miracles is the fact that the decrease in child mortality. That's another modern miracle. I mean, all these things that we have now, like the fact that you could give birth and not die in childbirth, like back in the day, like let's talk about 100 years ago, there's some women that couldn't push their baby out of their canal, and so the baby would die and end up killing them.
Woman would die too. That's
what I'm saying. End up killing the women as well, right? I forgot. There's a term for it. They have it because in Africa there's a term for it. My dad told me when he went to Africa, there was a woman they seen when she was sick, and that's exactly what happened to her. The child died. The dad turned into an infection, and she was literally put in this place to essentially like live out the rest of her life. It was very short. She ended up dying. So life is really short in that way. And to say that we're entitled to doctors and C-sections now, I think it's, that maybe that's a utopia. That's a utopia thought, a utopian thought. But most of human history has been what we would consider now a dystopia.
I want to
you, my brother. Just show your face real quickly. Just wave your hands so I know it's you. Okay, that's you. That's fine. Or comment. You got it better than me, brother. Just comment. You know what I'm saying? Brother, what's up, brother?
Okay. Yo, what's going on, guys? Mister, all the comment squad. What's going on?
Yeah, we got. You ever met Sacred Cows?
I have not actually. It might be the first.
Bro, this man's gonna take us down a deep ride, bro. So, Alberto, Sacred Cows, lovely for you guys to both meet each other. Alberto, you got anything to take on what we were just talking about?
Yeah, no, it's no, you're right. Back 100 years ago, it's like childbirth was like 50-50 chance if some person would live or die,
Right. And so do you feel like, to answer this question, because I just answered it from Sacred Cows, are people entitled, are our children, I believe you said as our children entitled to these unearned privileges of, I guess, our ancestors? Are they entitled to it?
I would say not really.
And why? What's your reason? I'm agreeing with you, but what's your reason? What's your own personal reason why?
It's like, there's a lot of entitlement going on these days. It's like no one really owes them anything. It's what they do themselves, and it's like, that's how your mindset is. If you want to conquer the world, then you do it. You don't You don't wait for validation. You don't wait for no one or anything to acknowledge you. You just do it, you know?
So my question is, how does a living being that's just been pulled out of a woman's womb 9 months after conception have these, you know, aspirations to, say, quote unquote, conquer the world, or have? I would think that they're at least entitled to an education, housing, electricity, plumbing, healthcare, and well, food.
Let me
As
jump real quick.
Adults are a different matter, but you know.
I'm gonna jump in real quick.
Yeah,
and then
adults are different.
So let me answer like this a little bit, Sacred Cows. In a first world country, we feel like we're entitled to it because it exists. But the rest of the world, this is an anomaly. This is not the reality. And so, like I said, I think it's self-evident that they're not entitled to it. We might want it for them, and we would gladly give it to them. But in some ways, and I'm going to agree with what Mr. says here, you're only entitled to what you earn. And honestly, if you want to know who really earns it, are the children of Americans, because they earned it because their parents did the hard work for them to live in this country, to have this level of freedom. And so the ones that don't deserve it, in a way, and this might be it might not be, like I said, a utopian way of viewing it, but it might be an honest way of viewing it, is that you only deserve what your parents, you know what I'm saying, inheriting what your parents had, really. You don't really earn more than that. So if your dad was an idiot, your mom was an idiot, I'm sorry, but you're about to inherit a terrible world, right? And a terrible reality. And a lot of people, that's their lives. If your mom was a crackhead and she did drugs when you were a child, you might have been innocent.
But they can make a negative into a positive. That's all we want.
By that logic, then how would you be, if you are not, then this does not apply to you, but this goes for both of you, by the way. But if you are opposed to this, then how can you be, by logical extension? And by that, I'm referring to abortion. If that child is damned before they're even born, why even put them through that misery and hell?
That's a great question. And to kick back to what I'm saying, I personally think we shouldn't play with what do you call, like, what's the term for a pill abortions, I guess you could say, or that type. I don't think we should play with abortion.
486 was one such drug that was devised back in the early aughts by the Chinese, of all people, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I think abortion
could be wrong.
A little bit. I do feel like everyone's entitled. So, okay, if you want to know what I think you're entitled to, 3 things: life, liberty,
property,
and property. No, those are the 3 things you really are entitled to be able to possess your own stuff, to possess your life, and your freedom to pursue whatever the fuck you want to pursue.
In my
outside of that,
as an adult, right?
Outside of that, like the government should protect those 3 things, because you need those elements in order to have life, right? Life can't sustain itself, and so you need to be able to have property. You need to be able to have your own pursuits, your own choices. You need to be able to have your own life. That literally should be protected. Here's the only problem with that: your property, which you're inheriting from your parents, you can only inherit what your parents have. So you're not entitled to someone else's property. And this is where you're not entitled to C-sections and abortions and different modern technology. If no one that you are born from, you're not the descendants of people that had that. I can't go steal something from someone else and give it to you and say that you're entitled to it.
Or in some cases, as is regarding children and what they are, as I believe, entitled to, simply to have that chance at a better life. Those who have more, those who have acquired more, would be required to pay their fair share to ensure, if for no other reason, do so out of fear. Because going back to that, lacking makes you desperate, desperate makes you do stupid, crazy things. Right. You know, little Jimmy Jr. or Tina, if they grow up in poverty simply because they won the fecal lottery, and I know I used that word before on this program, and they won the fecal lottery, and they have nothing because their idiot parents were morons. And what do you think that's going to do to them as they age and mature? In their desperation, you think they're not going to act? They're not going to do crazy things and try to take things that you own by force.
Let me say it like this, right? And I want to kind of veer off a little bit, just to kind of answer your question in kind of not a straight way, but from an angle. Life is not fair, and I think we're going to do a very big disservice in life to try to make it fair. This kind of socialism, Marxism kind of view of life, where we need to make things equal and fair for everybody, it's impossible. Because we can just start with beauty. Beauty wasn't equally distributed. There's some very attractive people, and there's some very ugly people. And I don't think we should make the very attractive people ugly, so everyone's unattractive. And this is the game we're kind of playing. Like, if you didn't hit the genetic lottery, if you were short and all the other people tall, let's chop down the legs of the tall people to make everybody short. That's the realm that we're going into. Life is not fair, and so we can't try to make life fair cosmetically for people, even socially for people. But I do believe in giving everybody, equal opportunity, but we can't give people equity. And that's the realm that we're running into. Listen, I feel bad for the people that are born into poverty, born into distress. There's people born with AIDS and HIV. Let's be honest. But don't give me AIDS because someone else was born with HIV. You know what I'm saying? And because now we're playing God. We don't want the government to have this kind of play in our lives where they're playing God. We really don't, because that could go bad fast. Now,
good. But if we really don't want
to, the last thing I was saying, then you can jump in, Storehouse, and it's not much I got to say. All I'm going to say is socialism, I think, works best in a family structure where the family, like your father, your mother, are chipping in for the kids, and they divide things kind of equally that way. Outside of a family structure, I do not think it works well in the through the greater community and then through local and then federal governments.
Yeah. Well, one is there's a big difference between yelling and clamoring for the right to look like the next Cindy Crawford or Fabio versus having access to a healthcare system so that my son, hypothetically speaking, doesn't contract measles or smallpox before he's 18 and subsequently dies from it. And I forget what my other point was, but that's just in a nutshell what I was going to say. Socialism is a fool's errand, one of your commenters made. Well, remember that the next time. Now I remember the other thing I was going to say. Okay, about socialism being a fool's errand. Remember that the next time if we all live to be that old, or if we still have a country which collect this from, remember that the next time you think about bitching about not having Social Security or having not enough Social Security benefits coming your way, or if you enlisted and you served in the armed forces, you worked your ass off to get to where you to get to where you are if you make the 20 years and you retire with a pension and whatnot. But nevertheless, your pension is coming from my tax money. And thirdly, you want to talk about playing God shape. If we really didn't want to play God at all, then maybe we shouldn't be seeking out artificial hip replacements or using kidney dialysis. If somebody's destined by God's will, which again, why I'm an atheist, God's will to be a paraplegic on account of having a bad hip, or if they're destined to die because both of their kidneys have now, for lack of a better word, shit the bed, let them die. By that logic.
You raise a great kind of argument, and I'd like to respond. Listen, so this is the way I look at it, and you know what? I'm gonna respond really quickly, and then I'm gonna read the comments, and you can take it away. The quick response to this is that I think you should be allowed, capitalism-wise, to pay for a hip surgery, but I don't think you're entitled to a hip replacement surgery. And I don't believe in taxes the way the government imposes it. I pay them because I look at them as the cartel, and if I don't pay it, whether it's legal or not legal, I'm gonna go to jail, and so I don't want to do that. So I agree that I'm being bullied by the government, and I accept the bullying. So I pay my taxes woefully, you know what I'm saying? But I do feel like there is, a revolver sticking in my, my ribs, and that's why I'm paying. But the reality of it is, in order to tax someone is to infringe on their basic freedoms, in which I'm talking about life, liberty, property, that type of thing. You gotta take my property and give it to somebody else. So you're stealing from me. You're playing Robin Hood. You're stealing from me and giving it to somebody else. And so I understand that you might feel like that theft has a good cause, right? The charity to someone else. But I think I should not be entitled to, no one should be entitled to my resources and my wealth. If I want to give charity, I should be able to give charity. And if the community wants to reward me for that, then so be it. But I don't think I'm entitled to give the charity, nor do I think I'm entitled to that reward of, giving such charity. So that's kind of the way I look at it. I think we should let people donate charitably to the poor, to the less or the disenfranchised, but to obligate them under force and under law and under penalty, I think is immoral, because like I said, you're breaking the basic freedoms, which is property. You're stealing my property to give to somebody else. There's no way I feel like someone's entitled to my property. I'm going to say that. You can respond. Let me read quickly some of these comments, because we're getting a lot hot and heavy here, and I want to make sure people get a chance to say their piece, and it's going to be a great live, I can tell. So let's kind of get through this. Damn, a lot of things we missed here, huh? So let me see where I'm going to start. I'm going to start right here. Okay. Mr. said, plenty of babies have made it through life without clothing, shelter, heat, and lots of other stuff. Yeah, I mean, let's think about our ancestors, right? A lot. Or let's think about people in warmer climates where clothing is very sparse. Jenny Baby says, you only think you're blank because you've been conditioned to think that blank. I don't know what that is. That, I guess, Democrat, maybe? I don't know.
Probably rhymes with ricked.
You don't think you're a dick?
You blurted it out, so.
Oh, yeah, I don't think
you don't want to get demonetized for saying that word.
Jenny Baby says, you're lucky if life dealt it for you that way, whether given or earned, sometimes luck, sometimes choices. Yeah, I think, bro, there's definitely some lucky people, and I don't think we should try to legislate luck or fortune on people. That could go wrong very quickly, and has already. Kami says socialism is a fool's errand. We heard that already. Well, we put that earlier. He also said we all got dealt different hands, but truth be told, we only compare the bad cards. Well said. I'm gonna keep going really quickly, and then you guys can jump in. Mr. said no one else is entitled to life. No one is entitled to life. People die every day. You could be here today, gone today. Yeah, think about tomorrow, right? Gone today. Yeah, who knows? We're gonna survive to sleep to make it a sleep. Kami says, I'm just glad to be alive. True. JF Noon said, what's up, everyone? What's up, JF Noon? Haven't seen you in a while, my brother. Call in if you'd like to. Kami says, I agree with that, Jay. I appreciate you, my guy. Jenny Baby says, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. One man's trash might be another man's treasure. Beauty is somewhat subjective, but we know that there's objective beauty and there's objective lack of beauty. Let's say people that are disfigured. Let's say people that don't have symmetry in their face or their body. We consider that ugly. A lot of beauty is actually mathematics.
Like the guy whose lower jaw was blown off in World War I, and you see those pictures, if you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah,
the sniper.
It could have been him.
Yeah, I think it was.
Is that who that was?
He was Finnish, the Finnish sniper, where I think so. Yeah, might be.
Yeah, I'd be damned if someone says that's handsome. I want to go to my nearest cosmetic surgeon look like him. I doubt it. Kami says, I'm from New Zealand.
Surprised.
Don't worry about you aren't paying a cent. Yeah, well, he's probably paying a lot more. That's what I think he's saying. But your logic stands in terms of an argument. Appreciate that, my brother. Mrs. Smith says, so with that logic, child support and alimony should be banned. No one is entitled to my resources.
Yeah, for real. That's just...
No one is entitled to my resources. Okay.
Jenny Bay says damned. Oh, so she meant we both were wrong. Sacred. She said damned. Okay, cool. All right. So, guys, I gave you my take. I think, in order to have taxes, entitlements, we got to steal from one person to give to another. That's breaking what I believe is the basic elements of life. You can't even have life without these elements: life, liberty, property, right? Because life can't sustain itself. And so I'm against the idea of taxing one person to give to another because you're stealing from one person to give another. And so a lot of people say taxes an election, like voting for the rights of stolen goods.
Well, I hear the argument that taxation have heard it ad nauseum, in fact, from various sources all through my life. Taxation is theft, but then I also heard the quotation that a tax is the price you pay for civilization. So
yeah, but I don't believe in these ideas, these angel planners, that there's a group of people that care about everyone else more than anyone else. So they'll properly take the resources and properly disperse them.
Neither do I, in all honesty.
Right, but that's the realm we're running into. If we give a certain group these powers of these angel planners,
why these groups should be term limited and should be held accountable to the voting public.
It's very hard to do that because it might start that way, and then they might later on to vote that they have all power or an emergency.
Well, first of all, we do need a constitutional convention, and we need to go through the nitty gritty aspects of every of the preamble, the articles, and everything, and among which includes extraordinary majority of people of legislators in this democratic republic, and there's a reason why I call this country that, not a republic or a democracy, but in this democratic republic that these powers that be can only hold on to this arbitrary amount of power longer than their expiration date. If, say, and I'm being slightly facetious here, 98% of the entire House, Senate, U.S. House, U.S. Senate, and every state House and Senate across the country says that they can have, an extension to their stay, so to speak.
Yeah, I think the trouble with democracy as a whole is that 51% of the population controls the other 49%. And so this mob majority rule thing where we got to have a vote, and it's leading to this idea that the majority rules, the minority is ruled, the ruling class and everybody else type of thing. So I don't agree with democracy. In fact, I look at our government, and I think it is this way, as a constitutional republic, not a democratic republic. But we are probably run like a democratic republic more than anything else. So I do agree with that. But it was supposed to be designed to be a
constitutional. If I'm not mistaken, and I could very well be wrong if there are historians here, especially people who've studied Roman history and whatnot. I've just scratched the surface barely. But unlike the Roman Republic before it turned into a dictatorship, there were no ballot initiatives. In this country, there are. California is an example, obviously, but there are other states in this country that have ballot initiatives that are directly voted on by the voting public, that are then carried into the legislative bodies in their respective state houses and senates. Pennsylvania has something like that, but it's only something that can be approved by our legislators. It's not something that can be directly implemented by the voting public with 50,000 signatures or whatever it is, and put on a ballot for voter approval in a given election year. And there's also
it should be able to be voted away. Like, I think we need to have basic liberties that are God-given, that can't be taken away because they weren't given by men, so they can't be taken away by men.
I thought we did. I thought we had the Bill of Rights, but there's so many.
Even beyond that, like I said, the whole life, liberty, and property. Like I think freedom came before government, not the other way around. I think government gave us our freedom. I think our freedom predates government, and so when we turn governments into these arbiters of what's freedom, what's not, it's a dangerous game, because now, and we have what we're living in now. Like, the government's supposed to protect our freedoms. Now the government's determining what our freedoms are. And
I kind of see where my interpretation of what you said, because I've had similar ideals for a while now, for years, among which includes a rewording of the Declaration of Independence from all men are created equal, because historically speaking, when they said all men are created equal, they literally meant all white Anglo-Saxon Protestant men. To hell with everyone else, women and other people of other, cultural backgrounds and whatnot, but to changing it to all citizens are created equal. That in and of itself would have powerful, positive ramifications, long-lasting ramifications, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, because, well, it's funny that we look at those terms man and we think only exclusively males and not females, because you just look at man as shorthand for human. I don't know why we changed that.
Because
men are
the discretion to say, when we said back in the day before the 14th Amendment, when we said all men are created equal, we only meant white men who were from England, not from Poland.
Well, yeah, in practice, that's how it was. But there was the hypocrisy of it was America wasn't practicing what they preached. I mean, if you read a lot of the books back in the 1800s, like Frederick Bastiat's The Law, and this is why I came up with those three things I told you about, because he kind of expressed it in his writings at the time in 1886 and stuff like that. You're saying how America claims to be this free place, what you're saying, but it's not in practice. So we didn't have to change the wording. We just had to actually live up to what we said instead of trying to change the words.
You have a more positive view of people than I do. If it's not in writing, if it's not in my opinion, in my cynical worldview, if it's not in writing, it can be used and it can be abused, as it has been, as it will continue to be going forward.
Well, we have this issue now. We know what a man and what a woman is, but now we're bending those words to say woman can mean something different if it's how you feel and how you express yourself. This is the bending I'm trying to say. It's like we take words that I think have a concrete identity, and now we're kind of twisting them to say, well, you know what, it really means that. And I don't know if that's ever going to end. So whether we change the word or not, especially when right now we have this huge issue of just trying to say what's a woman. Like no one could. It's like politically incorrect to say a woman is a female human being that's mature. An adult female human being is a woman. That's like, no, it's improper. You know what I'm saying? And now they're no longer saying mother, they're just trying to say birthing people. Like we're changing these words, we're changing the definition to these words. And I don't think we're doing any good because we're just getting more and more confused. I think it's okay that if you're born a man and if you want to have the liberty to walk around with a wig and lipstick on and chop off your, your genitals. I think you have the liberty to do that.
That's what kind of seems like.
Oh, go ahead. Go.
So it kind of seems like with the whole they're trying to go leaning towards communism when it comes to the whole gender identity and who's political correct or incorrect. It's like they're just trying to change the biological role. It's just that's what it seems like.
Yeah, I think Evasion Hunter said it's K or BK intentional. Yeah, international. Yeah, I think it's. And I'm going to say this real quick, and I know you got something to point about it is. I was only pushing back on this idea that we need to get the words right. I think, like I said, even when we have the words right, we bend the words. And so we're running into an issue where we can't even agree what words mean anymore. So the words kind of have no meaning, even if we change them.
Well, I just think it's funny. And one of the commenters here, and he's not the only one, because I've heard Joker make this, Better Bachelor make this argument. And
he's a good
great one.
But they had a fitness dad, Dani. They had a good idea. To hell with women. That one I can go for, but we need a multicultural patriarchy. Okay, to hell with women. All right, let's see how my response to that is if you really think that the 19th Amendment should be repealed, you go ahead and prove how masculine and how manly you are by beating your chest and saying this to a room full of women, especially those who have been in the service beforehand, maybe some who have served in the Marines or whatever, and see what happens after you make that proposal and do so with heartfelt conviction and see. Go by all means. Let's see what happens to you. Give you about 30 minutes, maybe an hour, And if you come out of there unscathed, I'll give you my respect. Fitness, by all means.
Get in here, Danny.
Oh, Danny's gonna jump on. All right,
I hope he does.
This is, and guys, like the chat. I mean, like the live, share this live. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everybody. Sacred, man, we need to just constantly have you on because you offer great dialogue. And even though I don't agree with everything you say, I respect everything you say because guess what? I have my opinions. You have your opinions, and but I don't think I should be able to infringe on the three things we stated earlier about your choices as far as your life, your liberty, and property. I don't think I should be able to steal from you. I don't think I should be able to determine what your liberty is as far as what you can do with your life, how you want to live your life. Or I don't think I should be able to take your life, you know what I'm saying, violently or otherwise.
Your body is the end where my body begins and vice versa. Yes.
Exactly. And so, but the basis of where does this all come from? I don't think it comes from government. That's why I think we're moving in the wrong direction to try to get government to impose or to intervene in this. I think this is something that predates government, and we got to keep that as in our mind. We got to keep in our mind that government doesn't give us our freedom. Our freedom is God given, and if you don't believe in God, our freedom, whatever you believe in. I think we all could agree that you should have that. Not only you should have, you do have the right to your life. You do have the right to your property, and you do have a right to your choices. You know what I'm saying? I don't see where the government should be able to pass laws or let us vote to be able to vote away other people's freedoms, such as taxation, such as entitlements. And it's all that. You know what I'm saying? Fitness Dan Daddy, that's you. Just wave, my brother, so I can kind of bring you to the chat. I know you're in the queue. Just wave if you can hear me, and I'll bring you in.
I'm gonna stay on for a couple 10 more minutes because I'm gonna hit the gym like soon, but I'll still be like hanging out in the comments.
What time is it where you're at?
Oh, it's like 8:33 where I'm at.
PM?
PM, yeah.
Yeah, you're in the gym late. What in the world?
Yeah, bro. I just been back and forth cleaning the crib and just handling errands and shit.
All right. Fitness Dad Danny, what's up, my brother?
What's up? How you doing? Good evening, gentlemen.
I'm happy to have. I know we're gonna have a good discussion, and I know it's always gonna be respectful. That's the kind of men we are.
What's up, man?
Give me your take though, because I don't know if you ever met Sacred Cow. Sacred Cow is a pretty interesting fellow, and he has a lot of great takes. So we're definitely open for the discussion. But yeah, what's your take on what we're talking about, Danny?
Well, I respect everybody's opinion for sure. I'm not like ideological person. I've lived in different countries. I have 3 passports. I'm very proud that I came to America and became a citizen here, and I've studied American history, and I love American history, American culture, but I would say overall that whenever you involve women, be it at any level in your personal, whenever you listen to women, it's always going to go to hell. And that includes in government. And I can tell you here that in New York City, we have an all-woman majority city council. And they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea how to keep us safe. There's a lot of problems, and we're just getting started because there's so much corruption and it's so perverted that I can't even say it because we don't want to get you banned, but it's really bad. It's really evil. It's really evil.
So I want to just say, and Fitness, I respect your opinion. Some of the women are pushing back in the comments. I know when they watch this on a replay, they're going to say you're wrong. So can you please kind of express why you feel women don't have, like, things go wrong with women? Like, what do you mean? Because give you more clarity so maybe people can have an open mind to what you're saying.
Because men and women are not the same. Men, we work with rationale. We don't work with emotion. Women are emotional beings. So everything that the way that they see the world, it's all based on emotion. And you cannot handle things that way. You know, in any time that women are put in positions of leadership, it usually it doesn't work out very well. In fact, it's very dangerous.
Well, here's my, and I'm not trying to simp. I'm not simping at all. You know what I'm saying? But I would say that I do agree women are naturally more emotional, and emotions are impulsive. So that means they could be impulsive, and men tend to be naturally rational, right? That's the natural male energy. But we do have feminine men who are impulsive and dangerous, right? We see that in my community, the Black community. We have a lot of men that are very violent, very impulsive. I mean, you even see where you live, Fitness Dan. A lot of the crime is by people like me, and a lot of it's they have this female energy. So I do agree with you. The feminine energy could be very. I don't want to say women, because I do believe women have the choice whether they want to be impulsive or not. I don't think every woman.
That's because what's happened is that you will not find any other country in the world that's given as many rights to women as in the US and the West in general, but especially the US. And they, instead of trying to build, women have destroyed, and they've done everything they can to advance their own interests instead of the interests of the family in general. So that's why nowadays you find so many single households with no father in the picture, and young boys who are being completely destroyed by their mothers and being completely denied from any masculinity. And this is a disaster for us. And we really, the people like men really need to speak up and not be afraid, because we really need to get the family back together again, and not have all these young kids being brought up with no masculinity in their life. It's not a good thing.
I'm gonna let Sacred Cow. I got some more for it, but I want Sacred Cow to kind of give his 2 cents on this.
Well, it's Jenny Baby, right? 143. She's kind of stealing my thunder here. And Jack Morgan, of all people, he had an interesting post. This was "The biggest man was once a baby," Bob Marley. And then she's going on and saying women can think logically. Trump is a very emotional man, quote unquote man. And yeah, I see where she's going out with that, because, it's not like, people like men like Trump, and to a lesser extent, but to an important extent as well, Brett Kavanaugh wasn't, acting emotionally during those Senate hearings and the Senate confirmation hearings. I think also, you want to talk about the liberties that women are afforded, liberties, keyword, in Western cultures like the United States. Sure, let's say they are, they are, but it's not like we have to ignore the impeccable track record for human rights that countries like Uganda and North Korea have for their women. Yeah, see, Shake's laughing because he knows exactly that I'm being.
Yeah, you got a great point. That, I'm unbiased.
Your emotions belie your convictions. But
what are you saying about Uganda and North Korea?
No, he's talking about their track record as far as like they've treated women poorly. Look, I agree with both of you guys, except for I don't agree that women shouldn't have any liberties. I think all humans should have the 3 liberties I'm talking about: life, liberty, pursuit, life, liberty, and property, right? You need those three elements in order to have life.
Things,
Right. And I didn't say that they shouldn't have rights, by the way, just to clarify. I'm not saying that women should not have rights. I do want women to have rights, but I think that we need to reevaluate the way things are right now because it's not working. It's really not
I don't
working.
think they need the right to govern, right?
Well, I think maybe we could give them like a council where they could vote on a council, like their own kind of, parliament of sorts, and
So
they
you want
could
them to be
make recommendations.
self-sufficient.
The problem is women are also very selfish. They really don't care much about they really don't care much about anyone else but themselves in most cases because and this is the problem with men too, is that there's just such a lack of God that people are really looking after their own interests. If you put a lady like AOC in power, that would destroy America. It would be the end of America. I promise you.
I agree with that.
And that's
Throughout history, we've had people, men especially, claiming to be men of God, looking after their own interests.
And I agree with that too. So I'm going to moderate this because you guys are on. It's funny because you guys are both on opposite sides, and I'm kind of in the center of both of this. So this is great. So this is how I think I would respond to what you're saying, Dan. Finish, Dan, Daddy. I would say that I don't think we should limit it to their gender, but we should limit it to their behavior because the reality of it is, and Jenny Davis said this, and I agree with her. There are emotional men, and we know damn well that there's like masculine women. What I mean by that, there's some very logical women. Like honest, there's somebody. Ayn Rand, right? Ayn Rand was a very logical woman. I think a modern version of that is Candace Owens. I think Candace Owens is a very logical woman. I can't say that she's not logical just because she's a woman. Now, I do know what you mean by foundationally a woman is more emotional and rational. I completely agree. We see this in our daily lives. Let's all tell the truth. I see a lot of women that can't handle pressure. When I worked at my restaurant job, right? I was working at a restaurant job this weekend, and I made a mistake, and I dropped a cup into our soup, right? So the cup cracked. It's like a soup bowl. I dropped into the soup, the big gallon of soup where we're kind of digging soup from. So it cracked, so we had to throw the whole soup away because we don't want to get shards of the cup into anyone's soup, hurt them, that could be a liability, blah, blah. So when I did that, we had to throw the whole soup away. It was a huge issue. So we had to kind of make soup by scratch, one by one, for all of our tables that needed chicken noodle soup. So when we're all, we're all running to the back of we're all running to the kitchen, and I got a cup of soup, another girl got a cup of soup, and we all should be working together, right? And so I go to heat up my soup. I guess we're in a line, and the girl says, "Excuse me, you're cutting." And I'm just like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be working together. I'm not trying to cut you. If anything, let's all try to heat our soups up together and work together. She got really emotional under the stress that we might not be able to deliver a soup.
And you see how it's always she didn't communicate with you in a reasonable manner. It's always shaming,
it was emotional,
insulting. It's always like that. And actually the Democratic Party has become a modern woman because it's always like that with the Democrats. It's always shaming, insulting. It's always this emotional ride that they take you on. You can't have, like right now, we might have a difference of opinion, but we're not shouting at each other. We're having a reasonable conversation. It's become very difficult to have that in the modern discourse because women are not going for it, and so many of the men are feminized that it's not really that it's often not possible,
Yeah, I just want to be very careful with just saying women not because I'm worried about you.
Well, most women. I'm not saying all women.
The only reason why I don't want to go down that route is because I don't think we need to go down this gender. I don't think we need to, at least not from a standpoint of legislation and law. I just think that
you speak for yourself, right? I'm speaking for myself, and you're speaking for yourself. I'm
Oh,
not
you
speaking on your behalf.
feedback. I wouldn't
Right.
say what you said. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to say I wouldn't say what you said, even though I understand the undertones of it, because you're right. Women can be selfish. That's generally, it's called female solipsism, by the way. There's a psychological term for it, female solipsism. But I think that there are women who are exceptions to that, and I think we should allow those exceptions to be in government, and so therefore we need to allow all women the opportunity to be in government. Even though I do agree that generally women can be very selfish. I see it at my gym. I'm a personal trainer, and a lot of the women that I work with, when they specialize in stuff, they specialize in stuff for women. So they want to specialize in things for like postnatal, prenatal exercise, right? They won't specialize in anything that deal with men specifically. They'll specialize in things that benefit women specifically. I have nothing against it,
Yes.
but it's like we're looked at as wrong if we specialize only for men. You know what I'm saying?
You know
And
what?
so
Take a look at the family courts, right? The family courts in America. We talk a lot about systemic racism and issues with women where women are treated unfairly. If you're a man who goes through family court, it's 90% chance that you're going to be squeezed out of all of your resources, and the family court is going to rule in favor of the not only will they rule in favor of the woman, it would take a really, really terrible woman before they rule against that woman.
It depends, to be honest. Like in court, it's money talks, and the justice system is very corrupt as well. And it's not just the government; the justice system is very corrupt. And as you could tell, like you see how some celebrities, like when they go to court or whatever, they barely get put to the ringer because they'll just probably like whatever have someone pay off the judge or some kind of shit because it goes way back. But yeah, I agree. Family court is like they kind of do put males through the ringer, but it all depends how good of a lawyer you have and how much concrete evidence that you have against your partner that quote unquote they're a bad parent, and they shouldn't be with those kids,
And that's where I'm inclined to actually lend a sympathetic ear to the three of you, all three of you, in fact, in regards to court hearings and whatnot, between the cultural conditioning, social engineering. It's there's the pendulum has swung in most women's favor in that instance, but
really quickly, let me
I would
read.
like to hear. I would love to see Jenny's perspective on that.
Me too. She wants to call in. I want to hear it. I'm just gonna read Jack's super chat. Jack says, "Thank you for the 10 big ones, my brother." He says, "Much love, guys. Keep the party alive. I got a jet. Got a friend in town. I'm going to a bar." Jack, I know we told about no more drinking, brother. I'm playing. He probably gonna just have one drink. He's like, "Could be fun later." Yeah, don't have too much fun though, bro. Make sure you could drive home. And but yeah, go out, man, and kind of live a little. Jack's a good host when you're in town. Jenny, and I want to read her comments. I want to call in, but I have so much background noise. Jenny, that's okay if you have some background noise. You don't have to call in, but we do want to hear what you have to say. I think it's only fair to give you an opportunity. So I'm gonna post a link in the chat. You can call in. You can cam up if you want to. You don't have to cam up. If you just want to call and speak your piece real quickly, we're more than welcome it. And everyone got to respect it. That's how we do it on this. I don't allow disrespect of anybody. So
Yeah.
you got to respect it. And
this is amazing, by the way. I really commend you for having this show because we don't really have opportunities to talk like this,
And that's why the show exists. I keep trying to tell people it exists to be a platform where the community can come together and we can share our ideas and not be, violent about it. So, Jenny, you want to jump in? Shaker, you got something?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
One thing I'll give credit to, in spite of the warts and all the flaws that have developed over the years, over the last 10 years or so, regarding YouTube as a platform, it still is a platform that is allowed for pessimism, but also cynicism and cross-examination to the mainstream narrative to be allowed to be aired in this fashion.
Right.
I give credit where credit is due. Now, the fact that I can't say the words I want to say for fear that you'll be banned and I'll be blacklisted or whatever, kind of sucks. But you know, I still have a lot. We still have more options than we would say on MSNBC or even Fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, do you have something to say, brother? You gotta go.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out, but it was great talking with y'all. I'm gonna be in the chat, so I'll have my headphones on. But appreciate y'all, and I'll talk to you on the next one. All right.
Yeah, have a good lift, bro. We'll see you Thursday at 9. And
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
if you got anything to say, bro, say it in the chat. We'll post it.
For sure, bro. Be easy, y'all. Okay.
All right, Mike. Yeah, so I don't know, Jenny, if you're gonna call in or not. We'd love to have you. And like I said, you don't have to cam up, but you know, a girl's take on this would be great. It'd be excellent. We definitely would like to hear what anyone else. Let me read some of the comments really quickly, and then we're gonna get back to it. Let's see. Sacred Cow, you said that you got a CDL, my brother. What in the world?
I do.
Oh wow. Okay. Is that because you can't be canceled? Someone always allow you to drive the truck, I guess.
Yeah, it can't be outsourced either. No. The running joke is like I said before in the previous entry, I said it's because somebody made mention of running a restaurant or working in a restaurant that's high strung and stressful, and they're not wrong. They're absolutely right. In fact, I always say there's a reason why I have a CDL and why I don't work in retail anymore, or for that matter, in the restaurant industry or any of that other nonsense. Because I'd be more emotional than the girliest girl. I'd pull my hair out and probably wind up serving a 300, 400, 500 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole if I had to work in those kind of environments again, especially retail, because people suck. Let's face it.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's why I kind of put so much effort at YouTube, because I know that I'm going to be someone that's not like the media narrative. So I feel like I got an opportunity here. But yeah, I got to worry about being canceled and blackballed and stuff like that. But I think the best way we could not get canceled and I could keep my life the way it is just by being respectful, like giving everybody the opportunity to talk, but make sure that we're not just like bashing, right? I don't want any bashing of any group, any identity, any religion. We can speak about it, but no bashing and just like pejorative, right? I want a discussion about it, challenging the ideas, but definitely not like bashing. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. Also, admittedly, I do a little bit of that as an atheist. I do come off as brash and aggressive in my channel, but that's my world. That's where I'm allowed to be that way. That having been said, I'm not so much as far as slaughtered sacred cows is concerned. The goal is not to get monetized to make buku bucks, to be the next Logan Paul. In fact, I can't stand the man. He makes me sick to my stomach, but also for various reasons. But it's to gain recognition. So I'm going to do some off the wall SH blank blank and do stuff like that to get recognition. I have other channels that I'm want to facilitate and put into mind that are more serious in nature, that where the goal is to not only garner more recognition, but also to make, hopefully a profitable living.
Good, yeah. And I'll support that whenever you're ready. We got Jenny Baby on the show. Jenny, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. And so you said you're calling from Indianapolis?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Awesome.
Mike Pence.
How y'all doing?
We're doing good. So yeah, please give it to us quick, fast, raw, hard, or however you want it.
Well, because I have a lot to say about a lot of the topics, and I really do like your show. Like I said, this is my first time catching your live or whatever, but it's just like, it's funny because I actually have these conversations with other men about the women in charge and stuff, and it does make sense, because we are real logical, emotional, not usually as logical, but the whole problem, this is my opinion, and I'm not a super political person at all, but the biggest problem I feel is the choices of people. First of all, money is ruling everything. Money always rules everything, and it's the choices that we have, because I'm not even with it so much as I just found out our choices for president is Trump or Biden. That's it. Like that's our two choices to represent our company.
We have more, but no one's gonna vote for the third parties.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a joke. Like that's our only choices or whatever. And I'm not opposed to an all male. I'm not like a feminist or anything. I just think like, yo, it's always jackasses in the place. It's always somebody corrupt. It's usually something corrupt or the good, the do-gooders or whatever are far and few between if they are in a place of power, and it's usually doesn't really matter. And like with being entitled to stuff, like I have so many opinions about all that stuff. It's just like we all been conditioned to think, oh, we're entitled to this or this is a good life. Sure, we have a good life, but you know what I'm saying, over as being an American or whatever, like we have it good over here. But what's it called? We've been conditioned to think, oh, if you didn't have this, you don't have, like, what a shitty life. But you're supposed to really be thankful. Like at the end of it all, you're supposed to be thankful that you have your senses, and that's about it. Like it becomes a extremely entitled, and like, yeah, we're grateful that we can do C-sections. Yeah, we're grateful that it's, more than a 50-50 chance if you make it or don't these days. But that's really not like what life's about or whatever. But I don't know. I have so many things to say, and I got a house full of kids right now, so I can't really. I'm just listening.
What do you think about?
What do you want to do the most?
I think what you disagreed with the most was that Dani said that he doesn't think we should have women in politics to the extent that we do. What's your thoughts on that?
But I don't really care. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't really matter. It's a jackass. Whoever you have in position is usually a fucking jackass. It's not a woman or a man. It's a jackass. And men make testosterone power moves, and women can make those too. And men can be little bitches, and women can be little bitches. Like, period. It's, do you have a jackass in position or not? Do you have a corrupt person run by money and with an ulterior motive in position or not? Do you have an honest person or you don't? Whether they have a genitalia, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, and like, it's very masculine women, very feminine men. It doesn't matter. It's just, do you have a corrupt person or you don't? Do you have somebody who really wants to do good or you don't? And usually you don't, because money put them there. It's all about money. That's all that matters. So
don't you think that women, like, don't you think this feminism that women have been sold on, don't you think it's making them very unhappy? Because women are very depressed today, and they're taking a lot of antidepressants. Honestly, I see women all the time, and they're miserable. They're living lives that this is not really something that they want, the way things are right now,
Well, men and women all take antidepressants. There's a lot of people who keep things under wraps or whatever, secret, hidden, and I'm not going to say that. Here's my example. The country Sweden, there's some country that was like run by a woman. It was a great country. I watched a documentary on it. Unless it's, some bull crap, I've been conditioned to believe that this is true, but it seemed to be this country was doing the damn thing, and it was run by a woman president or whatever you call it over there in Sweden or whatever. And like, but I don't think, again, it doesn't matter, because it's not like, you know what I'm saying, there's just one person. It's not a dictatorship. It's a whole party of people. This is just your representative. This is just
have you ever lived in a country run by a woman?
No, I haven't. That's what I'm saying. I'm not like a feminist. I don't really care who we're run by.
I grew up in the 80s under, you might remember a lady by the name of Margaret Thatcher.
Heard of her, yes.
What I can tell you about Margaret Thatcher is that this woman had no compassion for anyone, and in fact, she completely like gutted the country to where all of the jobs were sent. I mean, she did a really terrible job, and she did a lot of evil things, And I lived in Scotland as well, that was run by a lady named Nicola Sturgeon, who was the first minister there, and all that her legacy is that she introduced wokeism into Scotland, to where they had it where transgenders were raping women in jails and all sorts of terrible perverted.
Yeah, but
behavior.
terrible thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but terrible things happens to all kinds of countries and all kinds of places run by men or women. Period. It doesn't matter, and that those are good examples of a country run by a woman that fluckery is going on. But there's, I'm sure, 1,000 other countries run by a man with the same fluckery time and time again, previously and going forward. You know what I'm saying? So,
Why are you
Jenny,
yelling though? Why are you getting angry?
oh, I'm not.
wasn't
I'm a
yelling.
passionate person. I'm not. I'm loud and I'm a passionate person. I know people. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm just gonna counter what you're saying every time, because I mean it comes down to it's a good person or a bad person. You know what I'm saying?
You counter, but you can't overtalk people, and you can't talk to people in anger like that, Jenny. That's not reasonable.
Oh, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. Oh my gosh, I'm not angry.
Well, I have a reasonable counter argument to what
I agree with you. Hold on one second.
uh,
Let me just control the show really quickly, guys. I appreciate it. I just had to step away, and I didn't think it was going to devolve into this. But no,
this is what I'm talking about.
A little bit
when you talk to people, you can't. And it's the same. The way that you're handling this conversation. If you were in power,
I think
you would handle things the same way. It would end up being emotional. You wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, Danny, I gotta mute you, bro. I'm trying to talk, and you're over talking me. You don't. I get. I have no problem with what you're saying, bro. But I don't want to turn this into you arguing with her. You might not like the way she delivered information. I get it. But everybody, calm down. Let's think about intention. I don't think her intention. I heard the whole thing. I don't think her intention was to attack. She's just passionate. I'm guessing.
I'm not angry. I'm fine.
I don't know if you're black or not, but to me, you might be. It seemed like you might be black. But if you are, that's okay. I'm black, obviously. But she just sounds passionate. So, Danny, I know you're rational. You might have took it the wrong way. She didn't mean it that way. Correct, Jenny?
No, yeah, I'm not angry at all. And I'm sorry, you're right, because I do interrupt or whatever. But I just was saying, you trying to make that's a great point. Those are countries that were messed over or whatever by a woman, but it's just like in the same breath, you could probably name 1,000 others at the very same moment ran by a man into the ground or doing corrupt stuff. That's the only point I'm making. I'm not angry about it. I'm not a feminist or anything. I wouldn't care who's running the country. If it's a jackass, it's a jackass. If it's not, it's not. And chances are it's a jackass running the country.
Okay,
Man or woman.
And hold on, Danny, I'm going to let you respond. But first, Sacred Cow, you go first.
I was just going to say to Danny, and I don't know if you knew this, Jenny, but Danny, do you know who one of Margaret Thatcher's greatest admirations were, or one of the men she admired the most?
Tell me.
A politician here in the if I'm not mistaken, she was quoted as saying that he is the most important man in my life. I'm paraphrasing. He's the most important man in my life next to my husband. The man I'm referring to is our own homegrown American, Ronnie the Union Buster Reagan, who used to be a Democrat until he stabbed them in the back when he was the president of the Screen Actors Guild, and also is responsible for our own system. He really started the system of deindustrialization that has been plaguing this country as long as I've been alive, and I'm 42. Not only has deindustrialization ruined the middle class, and especially the area I live in, it's called the Rust Belt for a reason. It's also what has indirectly contributed to the outbreak and epidemic of drug overdoses, suicide, I can't say that word, self-terminations, and the other overdoses, as well as all the miasma, depression and despair that has been so prevalent nationwide, but especially here in the Rust Belt region for the last 40 plus years. And Margaret Thatcher basically did the same thing with the Tories. My understanding that they're basically the Republicans across the pond, with their system of their own system of deindustrialization and selling things off to the highest bidder, that kind of system of governance, which is more like, organized crime. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Well, the thing is that, for one, you're right. Like, I agree. Like, the institutions of a country, they're only going to be as good as the people running them. Now, today, we're definitely not as good people as we used to be. In terms of being run into the ground, to answer that, we still have something good going on here. It still hasn't fully been run into the ground. We could still salvage something, but we have to take a different direction. And I can tell you that the way things are for men are being destroyed. It's not just the political offices. It's the results in the school. The young boys in the schools are not performing the way they should. There's all sorts of autism rates that are skyrocketing through the roof. Men are dying on the job a lot. We hear a lot about women and equity pay and all this. Men die on the job. Men really suffer, and all we get is it's always this hatred towards men that's being cultivated. We don't, there's a reason that we don't live as long as women do, and I can tell you that New York City being run by the women that are being run right now, I've lived here for a quarter century, and it's never been like this. The women that are running the city, they're absolutely not concerned with keeping us safe. And I could tell you also that they're not concerned with the crime that's going on. All they can do is prioritize people that haven't even paid taxes here. They want to invite all of the criminals from all around the world to come here and to spend all of the taxpayers' money on illegal immigrants. And it's not sustainable, but the way that they keep this going is that they use the identity politics, and they're always hating on men. Like we're waiting for them to actually do something about the crime, and all they can talk about is the gender pay gap. It's like they're completely tone deaf to the chaos that in fact, the chaos that they've created. I really feel that they've created this chaos to exploit it.
All right, and I'm here. I actually don't want to eat on camera so people can see me. But it's been a couple hours. Jenny, this is good. And Dani, I like your response. Jenny, you have a response to that? Because I think you made a good, compelling point. What's your response to that, Jenny?
Well, no. What to the first thing that he was saying? Well, first of all, my skin color, no, it doesn't matter to me. But no, I'm not. Number one, yes, I'm very passionate. But it sounds like you're angry with New York or whatever. Like I said, I'm not like super into politics, because the only thing that I know is probably 25 years prior to that, before these ladies, nobody cared about the crime. Really, they might have pretended they did, but they don't. Okay, nobody really cares. They just tell you what you want to hear, so you vote for them. Period. That's all. They just want your vote. They don't really care about if you get shot up or not. They're gonna make it seem like they do. But as far as like a man, like when I hear you speak or whatever, that is killing men and all this stuff, or it made me think of one of the comments about the child support or whatever. Like I do think this whole, like I said, like the whole system is all corrupt. Like that's my opinion. It's all corrupt, and you can talk all day till you blue in the face about it. It will never change. Even the masses will never change it, because money runs everything. And unless you get up there and you got money, you can make some major changes with some money moves. Most people aren't going to want that, because things are moving the way that they need them to move behind the scenes. They don't really care about you, Tom, Dick, or Harry over there, because you're nothing. You don't have enough money to be cared about like that or whatever. They care, do you pay your taxes, because that's money in their pocket. Other than that, they don't really care. But like the child support, it is kind of a gyp system. I do think it should be monitored. I do think some people get away, with, you know what I'm saying, paying like out the wazoo for things. Kids, they cost a lot, and it depends. Everything depends. You know what I'm saying? It depends. Did you build a life with this lady, marry this lady, and you know what I'm saying, you guys are living the six-figure lifestyle or whatever, then your child support should be more. But it's like, I think, you know, for a man who's barely making $300-$400 a week and you paying half your paycheck to child support or whatever, and then you're expected to still be a 50-50 parent and do this and that. I don't know. I just think, I do think that it's corrupt. I see a lot of corruption. The whole system is corrupt and it's not fair. And I don't think it matters whether it's a woman or a man, because before a woman was there, a man was there, and he didn't give a shit either. He pretended to because he wanted your vote.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta be honest about this. Like, a country can come to its knees regardless of a man or woman running it. But I do agree that, you know, women do have a tendency to be more emotional. But a lot of the leadership for countries have been emotional from men, you know, historically. That's why I don't want to go down the gender route, because we've had way more treacherous and dictatorish leaders that are men than women ever. And just because there's not been that many female rulers in history. But I get the sentiment Dani's saying. I would say this, though. Modern times, though, we got to look at someone's politics before their gender. We have to look at their politics before someone's gender. Because, look, listen, this sacred crowd might get mad at me for this, but and I'm going to just use the word transformer. You know, men that are transformers, right? I look at their politics and I'll say, you know what? I might not like his politics compared to a woman who's just a regular heterosexual woman. I'm nothing against people being transformers, but I might disagree that men should be allowed in restrooms with women. I might disagree with that. You know, so I look at people's politics before their gender, and there's a lot of men that I disagree with. I don't give a crap that they're men. So. And there's a lot of women I agree with. Like, I'd vote for Candace Owens over a transformer, a trans woman, personally. You know what I'm saying? And that's a natural born man.
Yeah, you're starting to go into Joker territory where we won't even say LGBTQIA.
I won't, only because there's no need to. There's no need to.
He can never say LGBT. I mean, I can understand, you know, your frustration, one's frustration with the particular group by using, you know, a derisive name once or twice, but he does it every time he says it. That doesn't sit right with me. As far as Transformer is concerned, Transformer is a franchise made by the Mattel Corporation, dealing with machines, not even human beings, that can, well, transform themselves from anthropomorphic robots to, you know, mechanical devices or trucks and jets and whatnot. But jokingly, I remember there was a message board on Facebook where there was I believe a male to female trans person who made the joke that first of all, she was saying she was annoyed by that term because she's heard it used in her circles many times. So her running joke was, yeah, if I'm a transformer, then I guess I consider myself Optimus Pride.
I don't get that. Can I ask you a question just to get your opinion, Shape, about why you would prefer a woman over the trans or whatever? But because why does it matter if, like, they're more qualified to be a better leader or whatever? What does it matter what they look like or whatever, or how they show up if they're a better leader internally?
Well, I think the trans movement is a spiritual movement that I don't necessarily agree with. And even though I support their liberty to be trans, whatever you want to be, I think you should, if you want to be a trans donkey, by all means. But I think it's more of an ideology, and I think it's a spiritual thing. And I'm just not going to vote in that spiritual direction, not regardless of whether they should have the freedom to do so or not. I'm not going to vote in that line of thinking. Is the point I'm trying to say. And overall, I'm really making the argument that I would vote against a man in favor of a woman if I agree with the woman's politics. That's kind of the I'm using it as an example, but that's kind of the point I was making overall, is that politics first, gender second. Let me read some of these comments, and then we can kind of get back into the conversation. Theo Drago says 34.68 trillion U.S. debt and counting. Yeah, we're in a lot of trouble. And we're going to see after this election this year, watch. You're going to see 2025 is going to be a really creepy year. If you want to buy houses discounted wise, I would say the housing market crash is coming early 2025 for sure. John Bless says AI leaders coming soon. I hope not, man. Jesus Christ! Imagine GPT running our Congress. That sounds terrible. Doxy Trash says Trump change, nothing but ghost money. Yeah, maybe so. Geo says it will collapse, not if, when. Okay, awesome. Finish Dan Daddy says I'm married. There you go. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't need a girlfriend for someone that suggested that he needs a girlfriend. No, I think Danny doesn't have any issue with women that way. I just think he has his. I think he's just conservative, and I get his point. But I do believe that the point could sound divisive, so we got to be careful how we say it. But I get what he's saying, and so I'm trying to not necessarily defend it, but trying to express it in a way that people could probably get.
No, I am a bit. I will acknowledge that I am a bit of a provocateur, and that I want to get people thinking. And I am on the side of the guys, because I know that there's fathers out there, so many that are being alienated from their kids, and it's rarely ever acknowledged. And keep in mind that we give women a lot, and there's usually very little to no appreciation for that. We get a lot, but we do get a lot of hate.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all for men's rights. I had nothing against that. I just think that I've learned that when women talk about there's nuances and there's gray areas, there is that for people, and even though, just like for me, I'm a black man, right? And I know a lot of black men commit crimes, but I'm not I don't commit crimes. So if you would say that we got to watch out for the black men in New York, you'd be pretty spot on, because a lot of the crimes are committed by black men. But I'm an exception. And so I'm just saying, let's leave room for these nuances that don't fit the stereotype, even though the stereotype does exist for a reason. I agree. I accept that men, and I hope maybe Jenny can accept it the same way I accept the color scenario. I accepted that because of the acts of a few black men that has gained a lot of attention on in the news and in fact raised the crime statistics. I do accept that I'm looked at differently. I'm prejudged. I'm stereotyped. I accept that. I understand it. I think it's wrong, but I get it. I get the prejudice, right? And so I'm saying that to say that I don't think I need to be murdered if I get pulled over by the police. But I understand why a man might be fearful if he sees me compared to someone else. Like, I grew up in a town where people thought just because I was black that means I was dangerous. I moved to the suburbs when I was like 13, and I realized that people looked at me like all my family members were gang members, and they weren't. We're immigrants from Trinidad. I'm an immigrant, so I didn't have a lot of gang banging family members. I didn't have any that I knew of at the time. And but I realized a lot of people wouldn't mess with me just because they thought, oh, he's black, his cousin must be a blood, or his brother must be a Crip. So, there's a prejudice with these type of things,
So a lot of that stuff is.
Last thing I was going to say is I hope Jenny could accept that because women are very emotional. Generally, she could accept why a lot of men might not trust them in politics because of the tendency for a lot of women to be emotional. It's not that they're the stereotype exists for no reason. It exists because of something that's a tendency amongst women. Do you agree with that, Jenny, or do you feel like that's you don't?
Well, yes, and I'm sorry because I know Fitness Dad did. He wanted to say something, but I understand what you're saying. Absolutely, stereotypes exist for a reason, right? But we've also, as a society, as a people, and it will never change, and it has always been the same. We're conditioned to think and to look at things a specific way. And I don't think it's really ever going to change. And me personally, most men that I know, I'd rather follow them because they are logical or whatever. And what I'm just saying about like a leader of a country or a leader of a state or whatever, I think I understand the argument that you're making, Fitness Dad or whatever, about the women. If there's women in charge, I'm not in New York, so I don't really care. But the thing is like that, I don't think really anybody cares. It's all a conditioned thing, and yeah, it's messed up. A skin color, you look at somebody's skin color and you're conditioned to automatically judge them. It's twisted thing, and we'll never see a change. It doesn't matter how many movements or whatever. We'll never see a change. I'm totally all for whoever is going to lead me, as long as they're a good, non-corrupt person, which are far and few between. So most of the time, all of us, we've got corrupt leaders. I mean, that's just life. You know what I'm saying? Whatever country you're in, there's some form of corruption going on, and it's usually to serve people with money in their pocket, not anybody else. But like, yeah, it's messed up. I got mixed kids. Like, I worry about them, and it's messed up. You're looked at immediately different, but that's how we've been conditioned. It's how our parents it's messed up. And you know what I'm saying? There's been women in power who make horrible emotional moves. Queen Elizabeth, the super emotional lady, right? Used to kill all these people because, or I think that's the one, because she was jealous or upset or whatever, just off with her head type stuff. Like, I don't know, but so does a lot of men, like South Korea dude or whatever. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's all messed up. It's never probably going to get any better. I'm not trying to be a naysayer, but it is what it is. Some of us got dealt a good hand. Some of us are going to make good choices. Some of us are going to get lucky, and some of us just won't. And then you die.
Okay. I think
we're America. We have higher standards. We have high expectations. We set high we should have high standards for ourselves. We should have high expectations. And men, we do care. We care because we want our families to be safe. We look at this kind of stuff, and that's why this country actually, for a long time, did really well and did a lot of good things, because people actually genuinely cared. So we do need people to care. Please don't say it like that. We really do need to care like that. And we do need change. We need to become better. We need to work on ourselves and our country.
Yeah, but if everybody had that mind frame like you have, and you're right, we are blessed to be in America. All of us, I think, if all of us talking right now are all from America, yeah, we're real lucky to be in this powerful, very smart, made real good, smart moves or whatever country. And most people have, I put it in quotes, equal rights or whatever over here. You got a voice or whatever. But if everybody had the mentality inside that it starts within and all of that, but we don't, and we all have to answer. It's not a free for all. We're all in a society that's run by a government. You got to show up a particular way and do this a particular way.
That's right. You don't see the need to improve. We really need to improve, and you don't. I just want to point out that you don't see the need to improve, and that's a big problem. Most men, they will see a need to improve.
No, there's definitely a need to improve. What I'm saying is, I'm being logical right now. Logically speaking, sure, absolutely. Guess what? By the time you're dead, you won't see an improvement. Period. But there's absolutely a need to improve. I'll start with the man in the mirror. You can start with the man in the mirror, but we're 2 out of however many billion. Okay? So that's all I'm saying. I'm just speaking logically right now.
Right.
Emotionally, we all need to. Come on, guys, we got this. Or whatever. Let's go. But like, logically speaking, it doesn't matter, because we're all answering to somebody, because we all live in whatever country that we have a leader, and we have rules, and we have this. So you can make all the self-improvements you want, but unless you've got 1 million, 2, 3, 4 million people with the same mindset, I'm sure you probably won't see some big wave of change. I don't know, in the next 50 years, which I hope I can do that.
You've seen everything change, Jenny. Everything has changed. Every year, everything is changing. It's changing for the worst. We need to change for the better, and it's absolutely possible. You said it yourself. You don't care about what happens in New York. I care about what happens in New York. I want things to be good in New Jersey for my boy Shape. I don't know where Sacred Cow is from. Change is absolutely possible. People need to get involved, and not, I think this really shows that most women don't really understand the need to take those things seriously.
No, I'm speaking as a woman, which I already said from the jump. I'm not a feminist. I'm not trying to be a leader. I respect if a woman is powerful and is smart. I do not care of your genitalia. If you're a good leader, I don't want to lead all of this stuff. That's not me. But my argument to you was when you said, "Oh, women, something like shouldn't be there." Well, guess what? jackasses shouldn't, regardless of their gender. Jackasses shouldn't be in charge, but they are. Period. That was my argument back to you. I don't, and you're good. I understand the point that you keep trying to make. Like me, I don't want to be a leader. I'm not running for anything. I'm acknowledging the fact that a woman can lead as a man can lead, and you can have a corrupt one or a good one. Period.
You don't understand the point, Jenny. I'm sorry to say, but you don't understand.
Hold on. Let's not. We're Danny, bro. You're going way too
condescending.
Dominant. There's no need for that, bro. She hasn't went undominant at you at all. She hasn't said you don't understand. You guys just disagree. I think that's fine. Let's move on though, because I think this is getting tense unnecessarily. And Sacred Cow, you had a comment on it?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, well, one, the word I would use is you come off as condescending, but nevertheless, you say, I mean, I care about what happens in New York. I care about what happens, and this is coming from not a heterosexual male. This is coming from a homosexual male. And
I didn't know you were gonna tell anyone, Sacred. I thought you were gonna keep it a secret.
There's a reason why I bring that up again, because
conservative gay men. It's very interesting.
They're well, improvements need to be made, but if someone who is on record in writing is saying that the 19th Amendment should be repealed, is saying that improvements should be made in a given city, in a given country, I'm just going to automatically assume that those improvements are to be made to your standards and your standards alone, no one else's. Like Jenny had said before, we live in a country with this country alone is comprised of 330 million people. Of those 330 million people, 4 of those people are represented in this panel. Different backgrounds, different cultures, different upbringings, so on and so forth, different genders, different sexes, so on and so forth. And also, of the 330 million people, you've got people from my community, lesbians, bisexuals, transgender, Hispanics, Catholic, then atheists, Presbyterians, so on and so forth. And my argument is improvements need to be made, but the improvements that I argue that need to be made are structural and template shifting, for lack of a better word, i.e. term limits, transparency in the financing of elections, regardless of who runs, even if it is a transgendered and not a transformer person. Just like I said, structural changes, curtailing human nature, curtailing the dark sides of human nature that would otherwise run rampant if these changes weren't implemented. Because, like you said, Jenny, there are jackasses, plenty of jack. We had one that was before this jackass. We had another jackass that ran and will likely get elected again. It's a choice between a bucket of crap, I almost said the S word, and a bowl of puke, and it shouldn't be done that way.
And choosing one for
don't allow perfection to be the enemy of the good.
I'm
not arguing for perfection here. I'm arguing for something that's even somewhat decent, not necessarily. We don't even have good enough. So, if we need a little anarchy to implement a multi-party platform, a multi-party system, and to do away with the two-party duopoly that has been persistent for the last 150 plus years, that has devolved to this fictitious culture war that's ultimately designed by the powerful elite to design us, to pit us against each other based on superficial things. Yep. Then that's what needs to be done.
Go ahead, Jenny. You had something to say?
No, I'm agreeing with him. Yep, that's exactly what it is. The whole design it was for the elite. It doesn't really matter. It's a classist thing at the end of it all, and I completely agree with most men that I know. I would prefer them to lead me, but when it comes to, I could never say, oh, just simply because of your genitalia, you can't be, I would never discredit someone's brain power or ability to lead based off of their gender alone. And it's unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter who you put in office, i.e., and people are probably going to, I could not believe that Donald Trump represented our country. Like, maybe he was a good leader. I just thought he was a buffoon. I thought, my God, I called him Captain Tweet, because it's just like, is this really how you're handling yourself? You represent our country, our American people, and you're just like, of all the presidents that we've ever seen, you're kind of a buffoon-ish. I don't know about all the power moves. I'm sure he did some great things. Again, I'm not super political, but I just was looking at his character. Like, is this who we have as our representative? Are we kidding, America? But okay, I don't know. And then again, this is our only other choice, or a really old guy that they make fun of that he can't even think for himself anymore. Like, but it doesn't matter. That's just the face of America. Those guys don't really do much, right? It's other people.
They don't do much for us, Jenny. They don't do much for us. They do a hell of a lot for the people that put them there.
Well, no, exactly what I'm saying. Everybody who has money in their pockets, behind the scene people, you're making moves. We're just, you know what I'm saying? We get fed what we are supposed to get fed in the media, and we're supposed to pay our taxes or we get in trouble. And we're showing up in a system designed by powerful people. So either you can get up there with them, or you're just going to be a victim to the system, or, hey, go off the grid. There's an idea.
It's hard, but it can be done.
I want to ask one final question, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Actually, I wanted to respond because there was a lot of things said, and I was accused of being condescending. So I mean, you have to at least give me a chance to respond to that as well. But go ahead
you
first.
were being condescending by Sacred, not by Jenny. It doesn't sound. You can respond to that, but remember, just Sacred said it, not Jenny said it.
Okay, look. You guys have said a lot of things. I was very polite to everybody. I wasn't condescending to anyone. It's not true. So I absolutely reject that. Now, you guys talk about condescending. Whatever you think of Trump, most of the country supports this man. So instead of being condescending towards him, maybe you should actually ask yourself how it can be that there's so many people that supported him. He may not have been perfect, but the country was running, the border was secure, the economy was doing decently well. So you shouldn't be calling one of our presidents a jackass and then accusing people of being condescending. That's inappropriate. And then when you say that you want a transgender in power, I mean, what's a transgender going to do? All that is it's a lot like the way that women are put into power, because then it becomes harder to criticize them. They put people like that are like transgender, women, minority, because they want it to be that whoever's leading, it's a lot harder to say anything about them, but it's not, whatever you guys think of my opinions, I didn't say anything condescending to you. So don't treat people that way, and don't insult the former presidents when most of the country supports this man.
What just happened? I appreciate you. I respect your opinion. We're all just here with our opinions. I don't really care. I'm a tough person, but I'm just speaking my opinion on the dude. But before him, 4 years before him, the country was run and blah, blah, blah. And 4 years before him, the country was run and blah, 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 blah. It's always run. It's always, because it's not just them, it's the face. My whole point about him was that it was a joke or whatever, that his behavior was embarrassing to be a representative of a people, of a country. I thought, that's my opinion or whatever, but just because of some of the tweets, like emotionally, like, yo, don't react like that because it makes you look like a little bee. Why are you saying this? You look delusional and like a little bee. But that was my opinion of, again, I don't care. Maybe things were great or whatever. That's really good. But a lot of his stuff, I'm like, yo, this is not really our representative of this country. No way. But it is. And I don't really care. The next president, if he makes jokes, I'll talk about that too, because It doesn't matter. I'm nothing to him. He's nothing to me, but the face of America. So that was funny to me. What he did with numbers is great. But again, those are the people behind him. He didn't really do all of that with numbers. He's not the brain power. He wasn't sitting there all night long like, oh, I've devised a plan. I'm going to put my name on it. No, this was all of the people working for him devised the plan. And he's just, hey, I'm the face of all of these people. And I'm going to tweet about it. I don't know. But before him, there was things to say about that president. Before him, there was things to say, good and bad. So, whatever. But it wouldn't matter if it was a woman there. If it's a corrupt person, which that man's a corrupt man, right? So, and that's not just my opinion. It's been fact checked that was a corrupt person. So again, there's a corrupt person leading, and it's a man. So if it was a woman and she's not corrupt, who cares? Then she's not corrupt. It makes her a bad person.
How come he's not in jail? They should have put him in jail years ago if that was really the case.
Exactly. And just like you're quoting this stuff, we don't know what the media tells us. We only know what the media tells us, right? You've been conditioned to think that they told you that the numbers went up, so you believe it, right? They told you he's not this. So we only know what we have been allowed to know. I don't know. It's all a conditioning.
What makes you think that they haven't vilified him and successfully made you believe that he's this villain that he might not even be?
Well, true enough. Now, what happens with these tweets? Was that not that man making, and I'm sorry because I don't remember any of them specifically. I just remember my reaction emotionally to them thinking, are you kidding me? Is he serious? Are you kidding me? This is our president.
I think it would be more mature that we go by his record and the fact that he didn't start any more wars. That's also very important. He didn't start any more war. We lost 500,000. We've lost over 500,000 Ukrainians, and there's a war in Palestine, and that none of that was happening with him.
Giving credit where it's due, I will say that I give Trump that much credit. That we had a few hotspot conflicts here and there, but they were very small and minuscule in comparison to the handouts and the handies, if I can use that word, to the military-industrial complex with both established Democrats like Biden, like Obama, as well as establishment country club Republicans like George W. Bush and his father, and Margaret Thatcher's second love interest, being facetious, Ronnie Wilson Reagan. So yeah, I will give that much credit. But as far as the tweets are concerned, and as far as the blatant acts of nepotism, I'm not saying that Hunter Biden isn't a nepo baby. He absolutely is. I despise both political parties. I despise both parties, both candidates. I have my reasons. We can't get into it here because we don't have the time. But as far as those tweets and as far as rampant acts of nepotism that went on in the Trump years, yeah, Jenny's points are as valid as anyone else's. Male, female, trans, gay, straight, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think this was a good conversation. A lot to be said here. I do have one question I think we can kind of tackle, kind of tie this all together. In a relationship, this is a question, and this is off of politics. In a relationship, we're going to talk about heterosexual one. Sacred Cow, you can still offer your opinion. And I want Jenny to go first. Jenny, do you feel like a man should lead in the relationship between a man and a woman?
Well, okay, here we go. Yes, I do. I feel like a woman should be submissive, but that's just my opinion. I do feel like there's a balance to everything. There should be a balance. That's the only way that anything will work, is if there is a balance. And I do think that a man is more of a leader. I don't know, but I don't know, because I wasn't conditioned. I was conditioned.
Do you want to lead a man, or would you rather a man lead you?
No, I'd rather a man lead me. I'm submissive, but my mother was very dominant in our household. I grew up in a normal, 2-parent household. They were married, all that stuff. I had one sister, and my mother was the dominant one. She was the controlling one, but I feel a woman should be submissive to a man as long as he's a good leader, as long as he is a stable man and not corrupt. Then he should lead and she should submit. She's to be his helper. She's to bear his children. She's to listen, but also she's to have discernment and not follow a jackass as her leader, because she has that choice, because she's not a country or nothing. I'm not gonna. Once I realize you're not a good leader, like either you can bail or you know what I'm saying. But you need to figure that out pretty soon into it. You hope that you can figure that out pretty soon into it. Sometimes, unfortunately, no. People are deceptive. People are whatever. But me personally, I am a submissive. I feel submitting to a man is natural. I don't want to lead. I don't want to make the decisions.
Citing your mother as an example, Jenny, you've seen it work the other way around, though, right?
Oh yeah, very successful. My parents very well off. They both had very successful jobs. It's just when it came to most things, my mother was very controlling. She was kind of the boss. My dad wasn't a wimp or anything, but it's like, go ask your mom. My mom organized. My mom ran the household and she did the taxes, and because she was an accountant. And so I don't know. I always looked at them as though I'm scared of my mom. My dad is fun. She was I don't know, but I personally, I'm 42 years old, and in my opinion, I don't want to. I can't wait to hand the reins over to a real leader, a man. I'm running the show right now, and I've tried and handed over the reins to the wrong man. That was my fault for not using my discernment. I had lessons to learn. I had to blah blah blah. So, at this point, I still feel the same. I don't want to be in the leadership position. I want to submit, but at this stage in the game, I now know what to look for, so I can, after whatever, I don't know, I can cut you off quicker than ever before. You're not going to be the leader of this family, no, sorry.
Good answer. Dani, what's your thoughts?
The man should definitely lead, but he needs strong leadership qualities, and he needs kind of like the wife should be like the VP, like a good advisor that can give him good counsel and can advise him on the feminine, from a feminine perspective, so that he has one side cover and she can advise him on things that he might not see.
Sacred Cow.
Yeah, kind of dovetailing with both of them, but more specifically Jenny. I would say whether it's a hetero marriage, homosexual marriage, or whatever, it's a contract, an almost literal sense. And there's a reason why I call myself a transactionalist in a broader political sense, economic sense, but also in a more personal, day-to-day relationship, daily living sense. It's a give and take. Arrangements have to be made as to who is the one who wears the pants in said relationship. Whether it's if you want to be, if the guy wants to be is more equipped, say, to be Mr. Mom, like that movie with Michael Keaton. If it works, it works. If the female wants to fulfill the traditional role of being the housemaid and whatnot, or whatever, as long as both sides or all sides, in terms of even polyamorous, polygamous arrangements, as long as all sides agree to what's being contractually agreed upon, then that's how it has to be done. That's how it needs to be done.
Right. Yeah, and so we all pretty much agreed on this, and that's why I brought this up, because I think that there was a misunderstanding, that there's tension amongst these things, and I think ultimately we all agree that there's kind of a natural order of things when it comes to the masculine and feminine energy. And but I do agree, it's also partnership. Dani said the VP situation. Sacred Cow, you said a give and take. Jenny, you talked about how a woman has to make a good discernment, so she has to be rational in the way about the man she chooses. And so, yeah, this is the way it is. And so I think we ended on a positive note here. Thank you, everybody, for joining in, chiming in. Things got tense, but we kept the show afloat. We didn't sink the ship. We didn't hit the iceberg. I appreciate everybody. Let's have some positive words to take this whole show out, though. Next show is on Thursday at 9. Following Sunday, no show. Following Sunday, I got a date. I'm trying to find a girl that's going to be submissive for me.
Hey.
So I won't be here next Sunday, but we will be here Thursday at 9. And so I'm gonna let Sacred Cow start the positive. What's a positive thing you could say to take the show out of here, Sacred Cow?
Well, it's an alluring, attractive thing, a plug, a shameless plug. If you want to see what a baby boomer boss as I call this character, looks like with rosy red butt cheeks for a face, then please go visit my channel and you will see some examples of what said boomer boss would look like and sound like using an AI clone of a voice. And hopefully you'll be entertained, and hopefully you'll be inclined to subscribe and like my content.
Please do that. Sacred Cow, definitely support your content, man. I think you're great. I love having you on the channel. Dani, take us out here with something positive.
Hey, I'm really glad I joined tonight. I'm glad I'm glad I got to meet Jenny and Sacred Cow and connect with you again, Shape. And I just want to wish everybody a fantastic week ahead. I have a channel too, but it's just mostly fitness stuff for now. But if there's anybody that needs any help for fitness, I'm always happy to help. Always encourage people to start a fitness routine every day. And by fitness, I don't just mean, the exercise, but the well-being and all that good stuff too. So thanks for having me on, and I wish you all a great week.
Excellent. Jenny, you got anything positive for us? Taking it out?
Okay. Well, I don't. I mean, just, love thy neighbor. And I guess that's the most important thing of it at the end of it all. But I really do appreciate you, having me on your show. And I'm glad that I caught the live, because I always am like, dang, I just missed it. So tonight, this was fun. And I appreciate everybody's opinion, because that's all it is. All we all have is opinions. And I really like talking with you guys, all of you. So thank you for having me, and I hope you have a really good date.
Yeah, I hope so too. God, please support the panel. Fitness Dan Dani's. He got the fitness stuff. He's a fit guy out here in New York, I believe Brooklyn. Support my guy Sacred Cow. He's a definitely free thinker. You gotta applaud him for that. Jenny, I really appreciate you hopping on the live. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of balls, even though you don't got those. Live. And everybody else, next live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. I'm not here Sunday. And please check out my videos I'm dropping this week. It supports the channel. If you like to, please donate, super chat, super thanks. It's all appreciated. And man, this is a great stream, man. I love that we have this going on. Let's keep it going. This is our community for us to have a discussion. Like Sacred Cow said, we can't have this anywhere else. And until next time, people, I'll see you at my other videos and on Thursday.